Good morning, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of the Jess Machado Show. Good morning. Hi, everybody in the chat. We've had an absolutely a crazy morning. I'm going to be cognizant of the ums. If somebody wants to start a hash counting, I don't know what wrenches and crowns are. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hi. How's everybody? It's a really great Saturday. Good morning. Oh, two ums already. Hashtag it, somebody. Erin is here. I'm going to fill you in on what we were just doing, which will hopefully explain why we're a little discombobulated, which I'm going to say will happen more frequently than not. Let me oh, am I not live on oh, I am. Perfect. Thank you. Seinfeld puffy shirt. I'm going to tell you why this is the shirt I have on. And I'm also going to tell you, you can't see, but maybe I'll do a little show tour later. I do need an intro video. So I had a different outfit on, but I'm going to explain to you why. So good morning. So let's go over a couple of things on what we're going to do today. A little housekeeping stuff first and foremost. You can be possibly watching this right now on Facebook, on my regular personal page, which for the life of me, I cannot stop getting friend requests on. Facebook is essentially like my virtual photo album. It is where I've been on it since 2006, 2007. And so it's where I post all my family photos. I like when my Facebook memories come up because it's a good way for me to remember what a absolute unhinged person I was at certain points in my life. But I don't use it as much as I used to. I'm on X all the time, but I keep getting friend requests on there and I keep accepting them, but I do it slowly. I think I have 1,000 sitting there, but I'm afraid of them locking me out of my Facebook. And so there's the Jess Machado Show Facebook page as well. You may be watching this on YouTube. You may be watching this on X. You may also be watching this on Substack. We started using that platform. Substack is a new form and they've been changing things. So I don't know if you're getting a notification that it's live, but we're going to try it. Miss Maxwell is here. Hello. Good morning. I saw Melanie. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. So let's go over a couple of, so if you're wherever you're watching, would you be so kind to share so that others know that we're doing this? I still think some people need a reminder of what we're doing, and it's on Saturday mornings. I love Saturday mornings. For those of you who don't know, I used to do a show on WBSM, which is an AM radio station, Fun 107 down in the South Coast. It's their AM station. And I used to do a show there on Saturdays. I think, what time did I do that show? From 3 to 6? No. 1 to 4? I can't remember what time I was on, but it was a Saturday show. So Saturdays feel comfortable to me, but we are going to be doing a weekly daytime show, which is more news-based focused, political, and that will be launching soon. So we're going to do show and tell today. We're going to tell stories and we're going to go over things. First of all, we'll do show and tell and a couple stories about this morning. I'm going to ask, we're going to try something new. We're going to try a poll in the chat. And I don't know if Erin's going to be able to do it. Erin is we're going to try a poll in the chat. And then we're going to talk about a couple things that I did this week. Then we're going to have Shawn Nelson on. Shawn got arrested this week for protesting outside Boston Mayor Wu's press conference. And then we're going to go over the Bethesda House. I will mess that up. Bethesda House story that I broke this week about women who had been staying at that house and their experience there. That is where Kylie Montero was before she left, and then most notably went to her boyfriend's house where she was subsequently murdered. And so we're going to, with respect and kindness to the family, talk a little bit about that, but also talk about what happened to these women at that location as well. So good morning. So this morning, I get up very early for Saturday shows. I get up at 6 o'clock. I go through all my news and look at and see if there's anything that is new or something that I have to add to the show. And then I get ready. And then I leave my house and I've got a solid hour to just sit here and get things ready and prep. I definitely don't need an hour, but an hour is like a very comfortable like number for me. So I get here this morning. I walk in, I've got my drink. I'm just super casual. I have on a black turtleneck because I like the way black turtlenecks look on camera. It's my thing. Oh, also, I realized my earrings don't match this. Anyway, I open the door to the studio and it is hot. It is hot. Not even slightly warm. It is hot. It's like, and I walk in and I'm like, did I shut the air conditioning off? What happened? And I always make sure the AC is like not full blast, but that when I walk in, it's like crisp because I have these lights on me. I walk over to the AC, it's off. I push it, it doesn't work. I go over to we have a refrigerator and a microwave here. Erin insisted and it makes sense. It just makes sense. Refrigerator and microwave off. Start panicking, start sweating. Go over just to make sure. We have a little lamp that we bought. I go and turn it on. Lamp doesn't work. That's it. Hyperventilating. I call Jeff Marks, who owns Mallard Printing, who is the person who gives me this space. Hate to do it at 8:15 on a Saturday. And I'm like, Jeff, something's wrong. He's like, okay. He's like, let's think about this. Let me make a call. So he calls a guy and he's like, he's not available. You're gonna have to do this. And I was like, do what? And he goes, go down this hallway, go into this room. It says do not enter, go in. This is where all of the panels are and the fuse boxes are. And I'm going, sure. So I'm running down the hallway because at this point I'm thinking there's no way we're going to get this done. And I'm going to have to we're going to be doing this from the car. And now I'm communicating with Erin. I'm heading down there. There's a fuse that's in the fuse box. It's red. So I'm like, this has got to be it. Makes sense. Meanwhile, just so you know, the whole time I am thinking sabotage. I am thinking someone in this city who doesn't like the things I talked about yesterday and the videos that I made knows somebody and they came and they shut me down. And so I I flipped the switch. I'm talking to Jeff and I'm like, and I'm running all the way down here. Now, black turtleneck, tight black turtleneck, sweating, can't handle. Come back in. I'm confident it's going to work. Go over, not working. Tears well up in my eyes and I'm going, it's okay. He goes, listen, I'm going to call my maintenance guy. In the meantime, go back and look at it carefully and see if you missed anything. Sure, Jeffrey. So I go. And as I'm going, Erin is coming off the elevator and she's already aware. And she's like, okay, you want to go to my house? We'll go to my basement. We'll go downstairs. I was like, okay. And we walk in and we open the panel door. And then, of course, as you know, which I didn't even look at the first time, there is a list of all of the fuses on where they go and what they belong to. And there is one that says Mallard Printing. It's not red. So now I'm like, it's not going to be this. And then just like in the olden days, like in my old house when I was growing up, we sent Erin all the way to the studio on the phone. And I said, like back when I was a kid, you'd call, be like, is it on? Is the light on? We're doing it on the phone. We're modern girls. And I'm like, Erin, I'm going to switch it. And she goes, your AC's on. Okay, let's go. Click. So now I run all the way back here and I'm like, now it's 8:45. And so I change. I have a little changing area over here. Change my shirt. This is much lighter and it's airier and it's not sweaty. Disaster averted. Also, Erin, not my pet peeve of mine, but I didn't love that when Erin was on camera, we just saw like a wall and it was, somebody said it was a doctor's office background. Erin is new to reading the comments. Usually she's just reading comments of hate towards me. So any comments in regards to her, it's a new thing. I told her just don't read them. But anyway, she's trying to, we bought curtains and we had this thing. Anyway, if you could see what she's doing, she's hanging, it looks like a real legit studio now. So she's going to have something behind her. Okay, good morning. Let's take a break. Also, I just want everybody to know I don't like not interacting with comments. With the computer upgrade and things, I think I'll be able to chit chat more. But in the meantime, I have Tina as a moderator and Erin. We were going to add another person, but we didn't have time because we were scrambling over here. And so that's that. It was such a good day too, because on the way here, I didn't hit one red light. It was like, you didn't either? Coasting, coasting, no traffic, coasting here, no red lights, doing a solid 47 miles per hour in all of the zones. I know, because I was just such a great morning. I had good music on. That's another thing that's missing from the show, just in case if you don't understand how important music is, it is the soundtrack to my life. I know that sounds stupid, but it is. And not having music here is like a big thing. Ben Rosa just said puffy shirt. I hear you. This shirt is usually has a Trump rhinestone pin on it, but I took it off. Michael Diamond, can you give me a call? I got some information about the janitor in the building. I talked to his cousin. Sure. Just so you know, leading into this week on our Facebook memories was our week we were in Fort Lauderdale. And I did have a picture. Is it come up on your Facebook of the Mustang? Let me give you an Erin story before we do show and tell. Yes, I think I saved it. So, so hold on. I'm going to send Erin a picture. Stand by. Chat amongst yourselves. I saved it. I literally just saw it on Facebook Memories like 2 days ago, and I was like, here it is. It's perfect. I'm sending it to you right now. So one day I was driving to New Hampshire with my kids, and it was my daughter's, was she moving into college was the first, I don't know if it was, I think she was moving into college literally like in a week and a half, maybe 2.5 weeks. And this is like a family trip to New Hampshire, and we're all driving up, and Erin and I are just chatting. And I was like, our family vacations really like vacations when you're like planning and doing all this stuff and you're never. And yeah, we were moving Julia in, and so it was like, it's not really a vacation. And I was like, we need like a real vacation. And Erin sends over a screenshot of 2 tickets, and she's like, I need your information. And I was like, for what? I need your date of birth. And in a matter of, and I'm talking from the minute we started the texting conversation until the minute it was booked was like a half hour, if that. And all of a sudden, Erin and I are going to Fort Lauderdale for like 2 days. Oh, look at the back. Look what Erin did. And she matches. Unwell is appropriate. And so we booked this trip to Fort Lauderdale, and we were down there for a couple days. And it was the first time I had been away from my family and went on vacation without them. We went to Fort Lauderdale 3 times, 3 times. I know the first time I went, I was still doing daily check-ins, but by the second time, I was not at all. I wasn't. So anyway, we're booking the trip. So Erin books the trip and has these points, and her parents have a condo down there. So we have a place to stay. So I say, let me rent the car. We're going to need a car because we're going to go to Miami. And so of course, naturally, we're going to Miami. And so I say, let me book the car. So I book a car, and I'm super cheap and frugal, and I get the cheapest rental car you can get. So we get to Fort Lauderdale, we get off the plane, we go over to get our car, and Erin's like, all right, I'll check our car in. And I was like, okay. And then Erin gets the keys, and we start walking, and all of a sudden, Erin's like hitting the thing where the car is, and it's like beep, beep. And I'm like, Erin, what car is this? Bitch got a Mustang convertible because Erin is a car girly. And number 2, Erin's not going to be in some sort of like cheap little car. Erin wants to be in style. Also, Erin is a crazy driver, and we're going to do a whole look at us. So this is us. This is us on our last day turning the car in. Eventually, I was very sad, but there's Erin's pride and joy that she rented, and me being sad. She really put me through it driving to Miami and fast at night. And it's just Erin, I cry. Did cry. We're going to do a whole episode on Erin one day and all of the things Erin does that I would never do, like drive fast or rent convertibles. Erin, what? Erin's going to give out wrenches? Mr. Glare is on. All right. Do you guys want to start with show and tell? Miami was our vibe. Fort Lauderdale was a vibe. I've never been on anything so luxurious. Going away without your kids or your husband was just a total vibe. And I highly recommend. It's also very hard to justify spending the money and, all of those things. I don't know. All right, let's do show and tell. I have 3 things. We were going to do another show and tell. Erin brought some of her things, but I don't have all of those things ready. So stand by. Okay. First show and tell item. Are we good? Okay. Okay. All right. Here's my first show and tell. Does anybody know what these are? Sprint phone cards? Okay. I know some of you may not know what these are, but Moonlight Madness was a big deal. So these were for you to make long distance calls or get cheaper rates back when you actually got charged for, it's the phone card, back when you got charged for these. Good morning. Oh, hi, Amy. Oh, wait, after this, can we do our, So Sprint had these things. These were phone cards. Moonlight Madness, special low rates from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., 7 days a week. Cool rewards, earn free long distance and other cool stuff throughout the year just for using Sprint. Long distance calls. Like if you talk to somebody outside of this area, you got charged. And this was a thing. Call collect. What a bonus. Save anyone you call collect a ton of cash because they'll get the Moonlight Madness minute rate from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. And so this was a big deal. I lived in Pennsylvania for 4 years and then moved back. So a lot of my friends from high school that I was friends with still live there. And I guess collect calling was a thing, but also calling long distance was a thing. And so Sprint cards. Phone card, F-O-N. Okay, 2 more items. I have 2 sisters, and my twin sister Titi has a very conservative style about her. Everything she wears usually has a collar or buttons, and by default, I almost never wear anything with a collar and buttons, like ever. It's just not my style. When I was younger and we would go pick out clothes and we would go shopping, I would always go for things that were just much more dramatic. And my family used to say that I wore things like I was on Telemundo, like that I just had this style. This has never changed. So by all stretches of the imagination, anytime I get to pick out clothes, as you can tell with the puffy sleeves, I generally pick things that are extraordinary or whatever. With that being said, one day I saw a pair of shoes and I gasped and had to have them. They are my favorite pair of shoes. I know my sister would never wear them. So these are green vinyl, see-through. Oh, vinyl. I love those. Erin loves them. And then they've got a suede back. I've literally only worn them I've worn them a lot actually. I take very good care of them. These are my favorite shoes of all time. I've actually built outfits around them. I've got shirts that match them. I've got earrings that match them. These are my absolute favorite shoes. I do think someone said they remind me of jellies. I do think it unlocks some sort of like core memory about jelly shoes. Clara has the same pair. Of course you do. It's just something about them. I just love them. They're my favorite. So these are my favorite shoes. So I thought I'd share those. Good morning, Mr. Higgins. Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz would be jealous. Last show and tell item. They don't cut into your feet. surprisingly comfortable. I'm saying I saw these shoes. I think I saw them at Macy's. Saw them in a clear, went over, they had them in green, and I'm talking from the minute I saw them until the time I bought them was like 2 minutes. I mean, I instantly, there was no doubt in my mind. It was like, I need those shoes, and I'm just obsessed with them. All right, ready for the next story? Last year, my husband, I'm sure everybody can identify with this. My husband hadn't been feeling great. He had like stomach issues, and he has, what's it called? Diverticulitis, and just never really took care of himself. And it became a problem for me because, to just be honest, if you're sick, go do something about it. I have a real I don't know. I don't have time. I don't have time for you to be sick. Go get it fixed and then get back and snap back. I've had my own issues. I have lupus. I had all of these other things going on. I had endometriosis. Like, go get it fixed and then get back to real life. Well, Jeffrey just didn't do that until it eventually became a major problem. He was hospitalized, not this past Christmas, the Christmas before, for Christmas. Like, we didn't have him home for Christmas, which was completely avoidable. Totally could have been home. Wasn't. Went into the hospital, was there for 2 weeks, got out, and then they scheduled a surgery for him. And he had the surgery. My husband is an unbearable patient to the extreme. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, we knew he was going in for surgery. We knew he was going to be there for over a week. We knew it was going to be a little complicated. And it's fine. So I bought him a present when he was going in. And it's these, okay? And they're magnets. Okay, so I took the pink one home and Jeffrey kept the purple one at the hospital. And whenever I would leave, I'd be like, we'll get them back together tomorrow. And then when I'd come back, I'd give it to him. Super cute and fun. Well, when Jeffrey comes on, you guys will learn, like, Jeff and I have our own secret language. We talk cat to each other. He's Meowser, I'm Meowsatino. It's like a whole thing, whatever. So got him this. Also, by the way, made him super comfortable. Got him everything. Jeff did not worry about anything. Jeffrey just had to worry about healing. So Jeff has this surgery, and I don't know, looking back, I'm assuming this is a thing. When you're on medication, you can get very, very angry, like pain medication, or I've never experienced anything like this before. I went to the hospital to go see Jeff, and he couldn't get the pain. They couldn't get the pain. Jeff's a big guy. Like, he's 6 feet tall. He's not fat, but he's a big guy. And I just don't think they were medicating him enough. And he was just so unbearable. And so I went there and I was like trying to help him. And he was yelling at me and he was yelling at the nurse. And it was just like not a really great thing. And I came home and I remember telling like the kids, I said, I was crying. I was like, I don't see an end to this. I think I was in the mom chat and I was like, when is this going to end? I'm very nervous. Like, he's not getting better. He's so angry. And everybody's like, of course it's going to end. He's going to be home, which he did, but whatever. So it was a bad first night. The next night, same thing. Third day, I went there and I went to connect them and I couldn't find the purple one. And I'm looking all around and I was like, not saying anything. And I'm just looking and I'm like, Jeff, he's a little better at this point. I was like, where is the puzzle piece? And he's like, it's over there. In anger, like a pilf rage anger. He put it inside a pillowcase and stuffed it in the closet out of anger at me. It was in the closet. Like, at some point, he was so drugged up and angry at me that this thing offended him, and he stuffed it in a pillowcase and then shoved it in the closet. So anyway, these things still exist. Occasionally, when Jeff is being a complete asshole, he will bring these out and hand me mine and then come over with his and try to make it better. It doesn't. Jeffrey, and I know he's not watching this because he doesn't watch my stuff, but so that's my other show and tell, this and what happened to them. Make sense? I'm sure your husbands and you guys in there are very, I don't know. For a guy, my husband has a very low threshold for pain. That's all I'm gonna say. I I I do too, but when I'm sick, I'm fine. Like I'm like I feel bad. I'm like, oh, I hate that I'm here, and I wish I was home. And is everybody okay? And did the kids eat? And Jeff is like, why is everybody making fun of my shirt? It is. It's also a peplum. It has like a weight. It's a peplum too, so it flares out at the bottom. What do you want from me? I'll change. We'll take a break and I'll change. Bring up the sponsors, Erin, and I'll bring over some options of clothing. Can we take me off the stage? Can you throw it? All right, let's do our sponsors. Oh, I forgot to do bunny ears when I was doing that. Okay, great. Yes, these are our sponsors who continue to make the Just Machado show possible. Without them, that's not true. Without them, I'd still be doing this, but they make it a heck of a lot easier. After Hours Collision, that's one of our besties. That's a female-owned business, and she's amazing. We're going to talk about Mike Keneally and Brian Shortsleeve in a sec. Amy, who said hi this morning, she's in the chat. That's Silva Funeral Home. She's in Taunton. She is amazing. Don't be like me and not prepare for your future and burden your children with your funeral plans. Go see Amy. She's also Funeral Lady on TikTok, and she's hysterical. My queen, Nicole Sliney, we need to update that. She's going to send us a photo because I say every week I talk about how pretty she is, and that logo doesn't. She sent a new logo. Is she in it? Is her face on it? Her new logo? We need her face. I'm just saying. Stacy Face Travels. Speaking of Fort Lauderdale, I'm sure she can hook you up with a great trip there. Prestige Automart, no longer. Sorry, Jeff's no longer a sponsor. The alcohol won't allow it. Attorney Rena Brown, I'm absolutely loving this. My sister TT got a promotion. She now works at the Fall River Courthouse, and Attorney Rena Brown works out of there. So I get messages from TT, and she's like, Here's Kim has puffies. Good morning, Kim. So my sister gives me Attorney Rena Brown sighting. She's like, oh, I'm in court today with Attorney Brown, or Rena Brown is here. That's my queen. She has a really great story, actually, really great backstory. We should have her on one day. And then our team over at Powerhouse Remodeling, which is Roland and his wife, who are going to be relocating to Florida. So we'll get them while we can. Listen, I can't believe the discussions on this shirt. So thank you to all of our sponsors. If you're, we were going to do a poll about something else too, but if maybe I'm not. Can you take me off screen? I'm going to go get my other shirt options and then you can look at it. Stand by. Hold on. Wait. You can put me back and take them off. So around the corner over here, I have this, what do you call it? It's like a garment rack, but it's a fancy one. And it is. And Erin bought it because she wants us to put merch on it. And we have some merch, actually. They're like little makeup bags that say JMS on it for Just Machado. But I hung a bunch of shirts and I just realized they all have puffy sleeves. Wait. This has semi-puffy sleeves, but also big time puffy sleeves at the end. This red one does not. This one is actually the shirt that's in the Just Machado promo up top, that corner, the red one. So I left this here in case I needed to be like on brand. Who said no wire hangers? Great show. Great movie. This is a really good show. Aritzia, the brand. This was on their website. I absolutely love it. A little bit of puff and a little bit of peplum. And then my last option is also puffy sleeves and puff at the bottom. I'm a puffy sleeve girl. I told you, I went over this. I like drama, as you can tell by my whole thing this week. Anyway, that's that. So I did my sponsors who are amazing. If you want to sponsor the Just Machado Show, you can contact my bestie Erin at the Just Machado Show gmail.com. We love a good puff. Leave it on. I'm leaving it on. Jessica, from one Jessica to another, we're leaving it on. There's my email if you're interested. And you can sponsor my show. Also, YouTube is like a new thing for me. We're not going to talk about like the community part of it because I obviously fumbled that. I didn't fumble it. I'm gonna die on this hill about Brian, just so you know. We'll circle back to this in a couple years. My YouTube, you can have it, sure. So, a lot of things are happening on YouTube and I just don't get it. Like I keep getting approved for things like the super chat thing. And then they just gave me another thing today. I don't know enough about it. I do spend a lot of time on it because I'm trying to pay attention to like all of the tools and things, but I'm not good at it. Trying to turn on memberships in my YouTube. I don't know how else to explain it other than I don't care about like any of that stuff, but I do understand it's important to do and to build. And we're only on show 4, and my moms and my team of people remind me like everything that we've done in the 3 shows prior to this is great, and it's a great start, and we kicked it off really strong. Obviously, I want to make things great and easier for all of you. So we're working on it. I'm working on it. The problem is, I don't know how else to explain it. I work too much and Erin works too much. Yeah, Erin's not full time. And the other thing too is like when I'm working on stories, I'm so engrossed in those. I don't have time. This is the last thing I'm thinking about. It's the other stuff that I'm working on. So I'm a boring earth tone, no flair kind of girl. That's okay too. No, somebody said that, not me. Somebody. So yeah, so I'm not the best. The other thing too, I have some really great ladies who I have a group chat with. Tina is in one. Tina and another girl, I don't know if she wants her name said, but I really value their opinion and they give me great feedback and things. And one of the things that one of the ladies was saying is that interacting with the chat more is really important. I'm going to tell you, we will be upgrading this. I'm on a laptop, but I want a screen and then I'll be able to see my comments and then we can chat more. Because last week when we did the show, I had FOMO. I missed what was going on in the chat. I want to chat more and less like staring at the screen and looking at you. Like I want to chit chat more. I just saw a shirt on Shein. It's almost like Shein knew what I do for a living and it like popped up a shirt and it said professional yapper. And I was like, I need that. So, okay. So it's 9:30. We're going to have Shawn Nelson on at 10 o'clock. So I just want people to understand when I book a guest, I do my homework and I know that there is some controversy surrounding Shawn. So just relax. We're going to get to that. I'm going to ask all the questions and Shawn will be on at 10. At 11 o'clock, we're going to talk about the Bethesda House. And we have a woman who actually stayed there who wants to come on and share her experience. Some of the ladies that I spoke to were able to give me their information. And that's how I was able to write that Substack this week and that article on X. But we have someone who wants to come on and talk live and very happy to have her. So that'll be around 11:15. Okay. I don't know how to do a poll, but last night or yesterday, Friday, there was a debate between 2 Republican candidates that are going up against Maura Healey. And so a big part of what I do is politics. I make the connection between when people run for office, if they get elected, and how that impacts my life, your life, the life of everybody here. And I spend a lot of time understanding that when the wrong people get elected and the wrong people get into power, things don't go great. And the only way to change that is through elections. Okay. Case in point, Michael Morrissey and everything we now know about Michael Morrissey. If the people of Norfolk County elect Michael Morrissey again, I don't even know what to say. If he runs again, and he gets elected, it would be one of the, I would feel like I didn't do my job to talk to you about options. You have options. people are saying, well, why would he run again? Because politicians are greedy for power and they have no self-awareness and they only think about themselves. And the decision to run for office by someone like Michael Morrissey is rooted in his sheer ego and his sheer need to retain power in Norfolk County. And also, there's other people that get jobs and have power because of Michael Morrissey. So, to me, the most important election in Massachusetts is the gubernatorial race and what's going on in our state and the connection between that and Maura Healey. The second most important is the election for Norfolk County District Attorney and Michael Morrissey. And what I'd like to do is harness all of the activism and power that the people on the ground have and parlay that into supporting a candidate that will change Norfolk County and the state, and things can get better for us. I understand people like my reporting, but they don't like my politics. Well, my reporting is rooted in politics. My reporting is based on finding things that aren't working because of elected officials and then sharing that and hopefully navigating through change, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be talking a lot, ramping up to the gubernatorial election next year about why Maura Healey isn't the right governor for us. If you don't like that, then these conversations aren't going to be for you. But I'm going to tell you something. The amount of time and the amount of work that I've put into the migrant crisis and all of the things that go along with it, to me, are absolutely enough for somebody to say this woman does not deserve your vote next time around. Now, there are going to be a bunch of candidates that come out and run against her. From the Republican side, you have 3 declared right now. You have Brian Shortsleeve, you have Mike Keneally, you have Aaron Packard, and I believe within the next week or 2, you're going to have Mike Minogue, who is going to be a 4th Republican candidate. My job is to share their information with all of you so that you can pick one of those, and then you can send them on to the general election to hopefully beat Maura Healey. That's it. I just saw somebody write Grant for governor, and I'm just like, it almost made my eye twitch. So it's just very important, and it's critical. And also, I don't want people to feel like politics isn't their thing and maybe they don't know enough, or it's stuff that only a certain group of people do, or politicians are smarter. They're not. Politicians are regular people who look to lead. Most of the time, those things are ill intentions, but there are people who run for office that are doing it to make change. Aiden ran for school committee because he wanted to make change. I ran for school committee because I wanted to make change. I'm not a great candidate, and I'm sure Aiden feels that he also isn't an electable candidate. I used to have like this thing, I'm just not electable, but I'm pretty good behind the scenes, and I'm pretty good at talking to people about issues and politics. And so I've identified that I'm not a good candidate, but there are some really great candidates out there. So my job is to share with you and inspire you to get involved. You don't have to be all in on politics the way that I am. It doesn't have to be your whole identity. I'm not saying it's my whole identity, but it's a big part of what I do. I'm very passionate about it. And listen, sometimes there are Republicans running for office that I don't think are great. And I don't think, listen, Rayla Campbell ran for office, okay? And she's somewhere out west right now. She has like just abandoned Massachusetts. But I watched Rayla Campbell punch a 17-year-old girl in a parking lot at a Trump rally. And so people think that I give blanket support to candidates just because they're Republicans. That's not true. Sometimes they're just not good people. Maura Healey is not a good governor, and we can do better. And my job is to share that with you. With that being said, yesterday, Howie Carr did a debate between Brian Shortsleeve and Mike Keneally. I was supposed to go to that, and I ultimately didn't go. It was down at Cape Gun Works, down the Cape. Brian and Mike dressed alike, literally both in navy blue blazers and light blue shirts with collars and buttons. And I think that's par for the course because both these guys seem to, on the surface, be very similar. They're not. I think they're both different. Aaron Packard is a completely different type of candidate who I will just flat out say I don't think will ever win the primary nor the general election. I think that he would be better served at a lesser role somewhere in the state and building a base. What is a gubernatorial election? Your gubernatorial election is your candidate, your race for governor. So governor is gubernatorial. And so I think, and you're going to have this guy, Mike Minogue, come in. Mike Minogue is a very, 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 very wealthy man. He made his company invented a small little thing for your heart, like for heart surgery or a valve thing. And then he sold it to Johnson & Johnson or something like, I've got that wrong. But he had a company that developed this type of technology and he sold that or the patent to it. I don't know. He's rich. Mike Minogue's rich. Mike Minogue's got a ton of money. Hold on. No. Sorry. People hear me talking politics and I'm allowed to do this. And so, yeah. So listen, my job, I feel very important. I have to talk to you about these candidates. So anyway, Howie Carr did a debate between the two guys. There were a little bit of shots fired back and forth. If you don't know about either one of them, first of all, go to Howie Carr and then you'll be able to watch the debate. They went, short sleeve was superior. I definitely thought, I was surprised that short sleeve came out swinging and a couple of times there. He seems to have a very laid back approach, but listen, this is serious work. He's not doing this for fun. He wants to be your next governor. I think it put Mike Keneally on the defensive a couple times, but I think he held his own and he came back. Post debate, I saw something by Jack Gately online where he said everybody knows that the debate isn't the real thing. The real debate is after the debate and the online debate about the debate. Just anyway, go to Howie Carr and you can watch it and you can give me your take on these guys. But they want to be your next governor, and I'm holding back on my take on who I will be choosing, but at some point I will tell you. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to do what I do, but just know that I do my homework and I pay attention. And at some point I have to say, this is who I'm going to support. So yeah, go to Howie's show. I know Mike Crawford has been jumping on with Grace Curley. So some of you who have not followed Howie, maybe you're now exposed to Howie. But they did a debate and I thought it was really well done and it was great. And so listen, the Karen Read trial is over. If you would like to engage in something that still has an impact on the quality of life and how things are done, get involved in politics, get behind a candidate. If your town has a town meeting form of government, run for town meeting member. That is a local government body that votes on your budget. Law changes. Most towns barely have 50% seats filled. Listen, I run a clinic at town meeting. Town meeting is it's Christmas, the start of football, and town meeting. I get dressed up. I know all my stuff. I show up. I talk about all the things that matter to me. I have effectively changed how a town is voted by speaking at a town meeting. And that is you wonder why I have such an ego? Bitch, I go to town meeting and I influence votes. That's why I walk around thinking I am what I am. How many SROs did I get? Erin, great question. Many. When I started, no, we had one SRO for our whole school district. Then we got 2. Then we got 3. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm joking and being facetious, but also not. People, listen, this show is not made without serious stuff behind it. This show is made, should the ears be off now? Because they're glittery. The show is made from activism that has been going on for a long, long time. And so, yeah, maybe I have a little bit of a ego problem. It's because I've been through it and I also do the work. So there's that. Speaking of that, can we pull up the video that I put on my X account yesterday, the Fiola video? So when I came in and all my power was off, don't think for 1 second that I didn't think these people in this video were responsible for it. I'm joking, but also not joking. There is a power couple down here in southeastern Massachusetts, and it's Carole Fiola, who is the state representative for the 6th Bristol district, which represents Fall River, and her husband, Ken Fiola. And these two people are essentially what I think people consider the biggest power players in politics down in Fall River and the South Coast. Okay. And I have been for years being given information about the Fiolas, and also some people who you wouldn't expect are like, we're pretty much fed up with these people, right? But again, election season, Carole Fiola gets reelected with ease. She doesn't have an opponent, and she just walks into her seat. But I have been working and digging on the Fiolas because there's just some issues there. And so after putting together some stuff, I put together a video today to just explain just some basics on one thing that we're dealing with the Fiolas. And if you haven't seen this, we're going to watch it. Can we click on it and it opens to the full screen of it so we don't have the sides? Like if you just click on the video. Yeah. Okay. Let's watch.
Okay, yeah, this is Massachusetts State Representative Carole Fiola. She represents the city of Fall River for the 6th Bristol District at the State House. This is her husband, Ken Fiola. He is the president of this company, a nonprofit called Bristol County Economic Development Consultants. Keep that in mind. This is the newly developed land in Fall River on the Route 79 Duval Street corridor. It is currently under the purview of the Department of Transportation and the Fall River Redevelopment Authority Board. But the Redevelopment Authority has a contract with Ken Fiola's consulting company, which helps oversee the project. But recently, Carole Fiola introduced this legislation that would take this land and transfer its ownership from the DOT exclusively to the Redevelopment Authority. The Redevelopment Authority, of course, has a contract with her husband's company, the Bristol County Economic Development Consultants, to develop the property. To some, this bill proposes a conflict of interest where Ken Fiola could financially benefit from this bill if it's passed. But believe it or not, this isn't the only bill that Representative Fiola has introduced that has direct ties to her husband. This bill right here, introduced by Representative Fiola, is in regards to the state pier that is located in Fall River. The state pier has a board of directors, but they've hired a company to oversee all of the operations of the pier. And you guessed it, it's Ken Fiola's company. New legislation proposed by Carole Fiola introduces wind energy to the state pier, once again proposing potential conflicts of interest where her husband could financially benefit. So what's your take? Do you think there is a conflict of interest between the bills proposed by State Representative Carole Fiola and her husband's consulting business? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think there's a conflict of interest? Oh, we good? Do you see the kind of stuff I'm dealing with? Do you see the kind of stuff that I'm sitting here and I'm going, is anybody paying attention to any of this? And by the way, while it is exclusive to this area, their wrath only entails Bristol County. There are people like this everywhere. This is the kind of stuff that and I appreciate the people that are saying they like that format of that video and kind of explaining it. I literally just sat down and was like, I need to take what's in my head and explain it in a way that's easy to understand, because when you're sitting there and you're talking to somebody about this, I know it doesn't make sense. I know if you're somewhere on a cruise ship and you're talking to somebody about the Karen Read trial and you start telling it, does it make sense to some people who did not now because everybody knows about it, but a year ago, people didn't get it. Wait, you mean to tell me that there is a girl who is convicted of a crime and she was helping an assistant district attorney get a journalist put in jail because of his work on a murder case where somebody was being framed for the murder of a cop by a bunch of other cops? People are like, what are you talking about? So explaining this in a way that's easy for you to digest, great that you guys get it, but can the people down in this area get it? Can somebody look at that who wants to run for office and go, you know what, maybe I'm not a perfect candidate, but let me run against Carole Fiola because this right here, she shouldn't be there. Or maybe it makes a difference in how people vote and say, you know what, I remember that video and it's kind of shady. No thanks. To me, when I see this and that video that I put together, it's almost impossible for me to grasp that exists. Also, I lean back on that. It makes more sense. Yeah, I lean back on just because you can doesn't mean you should. Yes, Carole, you do have the ability to write a bill and transfer land over to the RDA where your husband is going to basically run a clinic on it. By the way, the redevelopment authority in Fall River, see, it's not even in depth more, but the RDA, they're just like a shell group. Ken Fiola's company runs the RDA. They are in charge of everything. And by the way, this is video 1, but then I went and got more. I got how much money the city of Fall River pays Ken Fiola's company $6,500 a month to basically tell the RDA what to do. So Ken Fiola gets $6,500 a month to control all of this stuff and all of this development. And by the way, the Fiolas are some of the wealthiest people in our area. I literally have to deal with seeing Ken Fiola come from Fall River to Somerset to come to our Starbucks in his like Land Rover. Like, and by the way, I totally think that people can get rich. I'm a Republican and I'm all for, less government and your business is thriving and making a lot of money. But your wife is an elected official and she's not just she was a governor's council. Now she's a state representative. Who knows what she's going to do next on her path of destruction. I just have a problem with people in elected roles being wealthy. It's a problem for me, unless you're wealthy when you start, which they weren't. So getting wealthy it's Hillary Clinton 2.0. And by the way, there's tons of pictures of Carole Fiola with Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, because she's a raging liberal Dem and doesn't care about anybody but herself. Bunny ears off. Can't do our interview with Shawn with bunny ears on. He won't get it. Let's look at some comments before Shawn jumps on. What do we have? Crony capitalism, though. Yeah, I mean, listen, Massachusetts is in a really great place because there are so many people that understand the corruption and the leadership and the failed leadership. Carole Fiola, thoughts and prayers, Ben. Ben's a good guy, though. He won't give me any tea, but if you ever have a moment and you want to chat. So I just think this is a really great time for change in Massachusetts because, listen, we have a catalyst. We've all seen the Mass State Police corruption. We've seen the district attorney's corruption. We've seen the sheriff's department corruption. You've seen it all. It's all right there for you. And so it's like, okay, you're an idiot if you don't make change at this point. You know what I mean? Like, Christopher Silva's in the chat, and he's the guy that's running for mayor. And I interviewed him last week, and when the Wi-Fi was terrible because he did a bad job and he doesn't understand those things. But can I just say that, like, nobody is born a politician. Nobody is born and has that clout. These people are regular people. Ken Fiola's mother was a poor woman in Fall River. Like, these people weren't born this way. Now, listen, is there generational wealth and is there generational politicking? Sure. I know a couple people like that. Not everybody. That's the exception. It's not the norm. So what makes a person a politician? Why can't it be somebody like Christopher Sylvia, who just decides, you know what? I can do better. I'm tired of watching them screw it up. I'm going to make change. I'm going to do something differently. Chris needs to work on his confidence, and he lets the stuff get to him. And if he got out of his own head and just recognized, like, I'm doing something, he'd not have a mental breakdown every day, because I know he stresses out over that kind of stuff. Corruption pays very well. It sure does. Sure does. I like the Keneally guy, but the private equity background and knows, yeah. So I hear you. What I'd like when it comes to the gubernatorial stuff, just so you know, first of all, it's very early. These guys are using their time to get their name out there and connect with voters and constituents, which is super important. I think if you're running for governor, it's a full-time job right now. So anybody who's running for governor, whether it's Mike, Keneally, Short Sleeve, or maybe Minogue, this is your full-time job. You owe it to the people of the state to work full-time at meeting people and talking about it. But this is a very early stage for them. So right now, they're just jockeying for votes from Republicans. Do we need to be responsible with our voting to make sure that the person that gets past the primary has a chance to beat Maura Healey? Yes. And then we're going to talk at length about the trauma that we all experienced with Jeff Deal and how everybody thought Jeff Deal was going to be the best candidate and he was going to win, and he lost before it even started. We will not do that again. And I'm just going to tell you right now, like, I have a bigger platform than we did last time, and we're going to use it. We will not be making emotional voting choices. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to do things that it makes us feel good. No, we're going to be ruthless with our vote, and we're going to say, this is the candidate I'm voting for because this is the only candidate that can beat Maura Healey, and the end justifies the means. Okay, does that make sense? So we're not going to just be like, but Jeff, and he's more like, no, we're not doing that again. Because where's Jeff now? Nowhere. He doesn't care. He couldn't win. We're not doing it. We're going to be ruthless voters. We're taking back Massachusetts. We are not doing this for, warm, fuzzy feelings. Because you know what? There's nothing warm and fuzzy about me getting public records requests and showing that a family who never even tried to come here, who isn't here legally, crossed the border, got flown from Texas to Massachusetts by Joe Biden, and is getting $3,200 a week. That makes me want to blow my brains out. Who on this chat can't benefit from $3,200 a week, whether it's housing, food, phone, laundry, health insurance? Who can't? And electric. Dude, the moms were talking about their electric bills, and they were like, oh my God, my electric bill this month. And I was like, let me make you all feel better, and I'll tell you how much I had this month. I have a big house. I have a pool. I have lots of air conditioners, and I have an in-law situation. So yeah, I'm not going to say it because people will get very distracted. So we're not going to vote with emotion or even feeling. We are going to be like savage voters and say this is the most important vote, not only for us, because maybe we're going to be okay, but for our kids and our next generation. We must make changes now. Sorry. Make sense? I know Shawn's going to be jumping on in a minute, right? It's 10 o'clock. Is he here? All right. So can we pull up my video on Shawn, the promo that I did on X? Yes, we'll play that video in case. So if you haven't seen it, so admittedly, I've never talked to Shawn. I don't like chatting with guests beforehand. I want it to be kind of neutral, and I'm not giving anybody questions. I'm not going to tell you what we're going to talk about. My drag queen friend, Shawn Connell, we didn't chat beforehand. I just want you to come on and navigate through a regular, awesome conversation with all me and my besties. And so Healy wants very wealthy or poverty level, no in between. I loathe ever. TT's in the house. TT. Hi, TT. Every day before we get the video, every day TT has her new job at the Fall River Courthouse. Every day she sends me a picture of her fashion for the day. Every day TT sends me her fits. Usually have collars and button-up shirts. Now she's doing the suit jacket thing, but she looks great. Actually, my daughter is getting married, and we're doing a dress thing to look for the dress. And there's one day, it's on a Friday, and Julia wants TT to go because TT has a good fashion sense. But TT's got a new job, and now she can't. All right, let's watch this video on Shawn, and then you can click on my media, I guess, and do it. Yeah, let's watch this video on Shawn.
This week on the Jess Machado Show, it's time for you to meet Shawn Nelson. Let's go.
You ready? Let's go.
Boston's Mara Wu may have an opponent this November in Joshua Kraft, but her longtime opponent is Shawn Nelson. Current candidate for Boston City Council and longtime political activist, Shawn has been out there protesting the Wu administration from the start, getting arrested multiple times, including just this week. Shawn's on the show this Saturday, and we're going to talk. See you then. This week on the Jess Machado Show,
let's see it twice.
Shawn.
All right, so hold on. Ooh, I just saw Josh Kraft is toxic. Ooh, I want to know more about that. Okay, we got Shawn. Let's bring Shawn on. Shawn,
Good morning, Jess.
Let's see if we can. Good morning. How are you?
Good yourself?
I'm good. Thank you for joining me.
No, thanks for having me.
So, Shawn, let's introduce first of all of my viewers to you. You're currently running for Boston City Council for a specific ward, I think, but let's get a little bit of background on who you are and what you're doing right now.
Right now, grassroots activist, as you said, running for District 7 for City Council, born and raised in Boston, first generation, Marine Corps vet, gay, just someone who's just a regular person, I'm like, just like you said, I wasn't born to run for politics. I didn't even think in my life I would be really running for office until I had to get out my comfort zone of going to work, living my life. And then you see the ridiculousness that's going on in our politics today to the point it's like, it stands out to the point like it's completely ridiculous. And then, obviously I was I'm a certified nursing, well, I'm a former certified nursing assistant. So I worked through the pandemic and we saw all the holes in their lives. And then when my job was jeopardized by taking a shot that I did not really believe in, you're hearing the same politicians like, oh, I support workers during the pandemic. But when we said we don't want this shot, and we're giving you our reasons why, you did everything you possibly could to twist our arms. And I went to the same people like Michelle Wu, City Council, to go speak to them. They chose not to listen to me. They chose not to listen to us. And then when we started protesting them, calling them out, now you're smearing me and my friends, who are a diverse group of people, women, mothers, gays, blacks, other Asians, and we're supposedly hateful and misogynist towards Michelle Wu and them. It's you can't it's ridiculous.
It seems crazy. Sorry. It seems crazy to us that we've come so far since COVID. And I think when you were in it, maybe people weren't looking at it the same way. There was still fear. There was still a lot of lack of education. There was still a lot of people that were worried about getting sick. But looking back 5 years ago, being forced to choose between taking a vaccination or your livelihood and a job, those were some real serious situations that people were faced with. Not a lot of people stood up to that. Not a lot of people said, listen, this just doesn't feel right. This is not what I want to do. That I think was the first time I heard of you. I remember seeing you out on the front lines with that. Before we talk about now and the future, talk a little bit about your activism at that time. And I know that you've been arrested a couple times. Was there any arrests that took place at that time related to your activism?
Yes, because like I said, I was a regular person. Like I'm an only child, well, raised as an only child. So it's just like, it's just me here. My parents moved out roughly when I turned like 18, 21. And so you don't really have that kind of group of friends, just co-workers, associates. So like, I was really come by myself. So I didn't know how to kind of combat this. Like I didn't really have a voice. I didn't know how to go protest. So I was fortunate enough. I made a post on Facebook, who's challenging these mask mandates, and guess who hit me up? Catherine Vitale. And ever since then, it's been the whole ride through. For COVID, the first time I was arrested twice in 2022 relating to the COVID mandates. The second time is when we reopened the State House for everybody. The first time we were going to go protest Charlie Baker, and we realized the State House was so closed due to COVID. I mean, fully closed. The public couldn't come in. We did our little protest. It was simply, we couldn't get in. Catherine snuck in past state police, and then I was live streaming. She got kicked out. She told the reporters, oh, look at this live, and it got their attention. And holding our grounds, even with a squad of state troopers threatening to arrest us over some law that they pulled up, they walked us straight to the reporters, and then we exposed that the State House was closed. The second time we showed up at State House is, I think it's Karen Spaniger, the person who runs, I guess, the State House. She copied Michelle Wu's vaccine passport. And at the time, Michelle Wu was in the lawsuit. So there was no vaccine passports in the city of Boston, but the State House still had it. We showed up again. They recognized our faces because they started coming out, looking at us, spying on us. And then we challenged them at the door. The only thing they had was a policy. When we asked security and state police, can we go get the supervisor? Are there exemptions for us? You just got to no answer on anything else. So we started chanting. I stood very on top of the 2 security guards to this day who did not identify who they are, what company they work for, what branch of security of Massachusetts they did. And the state trooper behind them started making the threats, oh, you're pushing them. I'm not pushing them. I may be slightly touching them, but I'm not pushing them. I made it very clear. If I was, 1, 2, 3 of you would be all pushed back. It's not true. So he said, I'm going to arrest you for pushing them. And I said, okay, go ahead. And I turned around. And even in the video, you'll hear the security officer, being a woman, they try to use that angle. I'm a man, she's a woman. Oh, you're touching me. Oh, now you're pushing me. Both me and Michelle Effendi got arrested. That case lasted basically for 2.5 years. They originally
what was the outcome of that, Shawn?
Unfortunately, we wanted to not found guilty or hopefully been dismissed, but the DA, Kevin Hayden, is a Wu supporter and he's trying to kiss up to her. So these cases have been dragged out. It's caught on video. At first, they told us, oh, trespassing and disorderly conduct or disturbing the peace, what they typically go through. But then when we're going through booking and show up to court, oh, it's assault and battery on a government employee to make it worse. Unfortunately, I had to go take, dismissal with conditions and do community service. And it was just community service for that. And the same thing for Michelle Effendi. But these are cases where we have heard when you are on the Democratic left protesting pro-Palestine, abortion, climate change, and you're acting crazy like they usually do, their cases are dismissed before they're even showing up. But yeah,
that's a really great point. Obviously, we saw a lot of protests and activity during the Black Lives Matter movement, and a lot of these people never saw a prosecution. Things were dismissed. So let me ask you before we move on, here you are, you've been arrested a couple times. It's being dragged out. Did at that point ever stop you and say, you know what, maybe I don't want to get jacked up in this stuff. I don't want to catch any more cases. I should probably step back from this and not move forward with my activism? Or was it an easy decision for you to say, I'm going to continue to move on?
It's just like you said, that's what they wanted. They wanted to break me down and scare me away. Unfortunately, they've done with other protesters that used to be with me. They don't want to get arrested. But the first day I got arrested, I thought in my mind is if I back down, they're going to always use the threat of arrest and scare me away from my activism. Me and Catherine and our friends have never been wild protesters. We've never caused any kind of construction, destroying anything. We stay on public property. We find out what the law is. We find out what the ordinance is, and we stay within it. But I know what they're doing. They're trying to discourage me, especially the big Black man, breaking their narrative because, oh, you can't have the minorities that supposedly you are the champions for coming up to the front lines and calling you out on your blatant lies. And it's failed. Every time I talk to my lawyer, Shawn, someone else can go do this. No one else is doing this. It's just been me and a handful of people who keep showing up, and that's what sets them. And I'm not allowing these court cases to hinder my life, even though my life has been disrupted. I lost my job back in 2023, and I haven't worked, and I can't go get a job because we do a background check. Even for the simplest jobs, a part-time job, they will see all my court cases, and I tell people, who's going to hire a big Black intimidating man to go work anywhere when they see these court cases? So they actually have disrupted my lives, and they get mad, like, okay, I'm back here again. What else are you going to throw at me?
So now you're going to run for city council. So let's talk about your decision to run. I know I'm patching together some of the story. By the way, your attorney that you have, I believe, is the attorney that represented the Canton 9. For those of you who are Karen Reed followers, what's your attorney's name?
Bill Gens.
Yeah, so he was the attorney that represented the Canton 9 in their case, for those of you that followed that. So talk about your decision to run for city council. What ward are you running for? And then we're going to talk a little bit about your relationship with Mayor Wu. But first of all, what made you make the decision to run for office?
What made me run was, seeing their faces, me walking in there as one of them. Mainly it's because I've seen them face to face. Again, as on council, always, especially the color council, it's always talking about, oh, Black Lives Matter, oh, women matter, oh, we're here for the Black and brown people, all for all, whatever their slogans are for minorities like myself. Being that I'm Black, gay, and a veteran, you don't do that. In real life time, I've caught you on camera bringing up real issues about the crime, Michelle Wu's behavior, my wrongful arrest, the same kind of wrongful arrest that triggered Black Lives Matter. The only difference is I didn't die. It's because I'm on the wrong side of the aisle when it comes to your narrative. You're rude, you're disrespectful, you smear me, you go along with her lies. At a mayor's forum in Hyde Park, I confronted Michelle Wu and asked the candidates these questions. How can we trust a mayor who uses her position to attack her own constituents? She got up and played victim, claiming that, oh, the big black man is coming to my house protesting, following me to DC, just scaring and intimidating people, my children, the elderly, me and whoever else. But yet Black men are supposed to be loved, respected, and feel safe. This is from her own mouth. You say one thing on your posts and in the news, but when I see you in person, your behavior is completely the opposite. And it's really disgusting coming from other fellow minorities. So that's why, at the same time, like, my protesting only does so much. And no one's really standing up in Boston and Massachusetts. It's really finding this. It's, you want to stay on your keyboards, be mad and all that stuff. It's now the time to take it to the next level and take their seats away. And I can tell when me and Catherine ran for 2023, they were completely worried. They were completely scared at the fact that you had two regular people challenging your authority even further than just protesting.
Let's talk about this week. Sorry about that. Mayor Wu had a press conference. You were there. You got arrested. Can you tell everybody about what happened earlier this week?
So I had a friend, I'm going to leave that person's name out of it, sent me information that Michelle Wu was having a press conference because she doesn't let this get out to the public because she doesn't want to be challenged. So they told me about it. Now, unfortunately, I'm not really that sociable with people. I called and sent a text or call some people. They don't get called until like that morning. One other person might have shown up with me, but they didn't feel like it. But I felt like she has been telling the world that Boston is a safe city when I and the rest of the people who walk the streets of Boston sees differently. I'm the one who's recording the needles. I'm recording the gathering of the homeless people. I've been assaulted 3 to 4 times. Well, by homeless people. I see the filth. I see you hear the crime rates. You're talking to the individuals at meetings. Oh, a shooting over here, a shooting over here, stabbing over here. And like, please don't tell the rest of the world that we're a safe city. Just because you have the Boston police on your speed dial, the rest of us don't have that. So I knew it had been time to call her out on it by a citizen. So I showed up with my megaphone, even though Bill told me, Shawn, try not to show up, try not to get arrested, try not to use the megaphone if you can. But as you know, one of my conditions of my dismissal is, what people don't realize, I have to stay away from City Hall Plaza. It used to be just the building, but now the entire plaza, and that was done on purpose to keep someone like me from showing up and calling her out. Right. So, okay, there's no actual distance other than staying away. So I chose to stay on the sidewalk, furthest away from City Hall Plaza grounds. I used the megaphone start. I didn't know who was talking at the time because I think they didn't have speakers. They were all dancing the little matracha thing. I didn't know if Michelle Wu was talking. All I heard them was clapping. So that's when I started calling her out. Shame on Wu. Wu has to go. Boss, it's not safe. Stop confusing the issue between illegal immigrants versus legal immigration. And I was just going off. There was no script or anything just coming off my chest. I'm finding needles. You just had a child stuck on Columbia Road. I don't even think she even apologized to that child, even though she's a mother herself. And then, as usual, I'm seeing the Boston Police gathering Sergeant Silter, who is her new goon squad leader at City Hall, who has caused trouble not only for myself, Joey DePina, and Brian Foley. He comes up to me and, gives me the work. They have all these excuses to violate your rights because they know the average person doesn't know the law. He's used the noise was what they always do, but again, Michelle Wu, other protesters throughout the years have been on megaphones. I've had megaphones used from Michelle Wu, and not one time did they say you can't use it. They've tried to hold ordinance thing, but it doesn't work. And they sometimes will arrest you, sometimes they won't, depending on like where and when. But because she had this national press conference to challenge President Trump, she needed that fanfare, and she can't sit there and tell the world that, oh, Boston's safe, Boston stands with the illegals, when it's not true. You talk to the average citizen, it's like, no, I don't. Even especially with Black people, when they took over the rec center, you have Black people talking about, I barely get anything in my SNAP benefits, but yet you have someone who came across the border who's not here, who's here illegally, they're getting treated better than our citizens, especially when it comes to Black people. We're basically poor. You took over a rec center, and then city councilors just the other week up the street for the Walgreens claiming that it's leaving and it's racist, but yet you have the white governor of Massachusetts stealing Black resources, and that's not racist. Those same advocates were in the room trying to convince the world that Roxbury agreed to this, and it's like, no, that's not true. People are telling me they're barely getting any kind of benefits, but yet you have billions of dollars wasted on illegal immigrants. So that means you've always had the ability to help the poor, but you chose not to because these illegals are nothing more than your new voters and cheap labor that won't stand up to you.
Let me ask you a question before you move on. You know, having spoken with people down here in Fall River prior to the presidential election, we definitely heard from, you know, a certain facet of the community in the city where they were upset that they don't have those extra benefits. They're not getting the support. And you're saying, you know, obviously people are seeing and hearing, hey, we do have the money. We can help more. They just chose not to and chose to use that money for people coming across the border. Do you think that even though people are feeling that way, it's going to change how people vote? Will people make that connection between, you know, seeing the money being spent on migrants and how they end up voting in the next election?
Yes, I think the problem is you don't have a lot of advocates like myself going to these meetings. A lot of us don't know any about these meetings unless you're a part of a certain group. And if you are not a part of it, you might get an invitation through somebody else, but as soon as you speak out, they either shutting you down, they're name calling you, or you're not being invited. People here who are kind of somewhat informed and just see it all the time. Like when I went to Mass and Cass to go help a friend, Robin, who comes here to help feed people, Robin Sullivan, I'm not even talking politics, and they talk about the homeless people that who needs to go, how are they giving people money that not even here. These are homeless people who are shooting up, talking about politics. And you talk to people who, again, they're scared. They see what happens to me and other people who are challenging Michelle Wu because either you're a city employee or you know somebody who's in the city or you have a program with the city. Speak out, and you see how petty they become. I was at a forum from other candidates for at large. There was a city employee that he asked me, can you not get me in the camera because I want to speak out. I'm afraid of my job. Even during this campaign, I've heard people say the city workers in City Hall don't even like her, but they're afraid about their positions because we've seen what happened. Shana Cantone, she was a police officer for 13 years who challenged Michelle Wu openly. She did everything she was supposed to go do. She now protested in her uniform. It was only when she was off duty, but yet she still lost her job to petty complaint that they conjured up for her, and she was gone. People know what's going on, but they're scared to speak up out of retaliation, or they've just gone and given up to the point like, oh, my voice doesn't matter. Even if I vote against her, somehow she's going to get back in office. My vote doesn't matter.
Speaking of the Wu administration and people who are working in City Hall, I don't know if you know, Bostonians Against Wu is a really popular, growing Twitter or X account. They've started a website that is kind of releasing stories, and it seems to me every week we're hearing or seeing a story about someone who works for the Wu administration that is getting arrested, being violent. I don't know how familiar you are with those stories, but what's your take on what seems to be the mayor surrounding herself with people who are not qualified, people that are potentially being hired to fit this, DEI, kind of quota, and how well functioning, the government is, considering the team of people she's surrounded herself with are constantly in the news in a not favorable light.
Yeah, the anti-Wu, it's a wonderful thing. I can't believe in the last couple of months in the year, it's really blown up with a lot of these stories that we will not hear from the media, because it's like my story, you didn't hear it because I have a clip of Michelle Wu basically telling the reporters don't cover certain stories, especially when it comes to her. I'm not surprising. People like Michelle Wu, they foster like this lack of leadership, because if I was running a city council, I'm old school, I'm 46. I remember when your boss said something, you just did it. They will come in bringing you to the office. The fact that she hasn't sent a press release to out the city employees telling you this behavior is sickening and it needs to stop. You represent the city. The next time I hear about this, you are gone. You are fired. But she doesn't do, because she needs to, like I said, DEI. She needs to fill these positions because she's a minority. I have to put other minorities in there, and you're not getting the qualified people. unfortunately. You're having people, like I said, I think one of the Asian couple that had a fight, I believe, in somewhere in Chinatown, I believe, the first thing they hear that, oh, I'm a city hall employee, I work for an administration. It's that arrogant behavior that you get from city employees that we've all known throughout the years. I'm not going to get in trouble. I'm not going to be fired. I'm just going to get a slap on the wrist and I'm back what I'm doing. It's that arrogance that comes from it. And the fact that she herself does it is another example. Poor leadership is an example. She violates the rules. She lies, and nothing happens to her. No one even holds her accountable if you're even able to go do it. So I'm not surprising. It's just now that we have a news organization that is an independent news who's actually showing this behavior, because again, I'm sure this has been going on for years, but depending who's in that seat, who's running the city, hush, hush.
Speaking of leadership, what do you think of Joshua Kraft? Is he... I mean, I see what people are saying. Not living in Boston, I'm paying moderate attention. Some people are saying this isn't really a better alternative and that they were expecting something completely different. What's your take on Josh Kraft and his candidacy for a city mayor?
I will say, for me, he's kind of a weak candidate. He's not really bringing up a lot of the issues. He's just kind of talking about, Democrat this, repeating a lot of the talking points are, he's not going to cooperate with Trump, kind of like a lot of these talking points sounding like a Democrat, and it doesn't fit you. It just seems like you're putting on an act because Boston is a Democratic city, even though majority of the voters here are independent. He's just putting on an act when it comes to the real questions instead of like dominating, because again, she's had 4 years plus her time on city council. I hear from people like her attendance were poor. She's been in office as mayor for 4 years. Boston hasn't gotten better. Stick to the facts. Stop trying to sound like a Democrat and sound like someone who's running for mayor. I've looked at them like, you need to step it up a little bit more. You have housing, you have the crime, you have the drug use, you have a lot of stuff, people not feeling their voices are being heard. Stick to those main issues and show her failures versus trying to repeat the same Democratic stuff, because people are only going to probably vote for him just to get her out of office. And
let's ask a tough question, because when I showed that I was going to have you on the show, a couple of haters jumped in the comment section, started dropping some videos showing you whether it was assaulting or pushing a couple of women at some of these events where you're being an activist. Do you want to clear the air on that and talk a little bit about it?
Well, those are trolls that are basically sent by like the Democrat Party, because if you look at their account, especially the main one, I think it's Chip Gaines or Goins, you look at his profile, he's sitting there laughing with Ayanna Pressley. He's sitting up taking photos with a lot of these Democrats. Either they are purposely sending him to go do this because he's a fellow Black man, or he feels like, oh, I'm the typical, I'm in this group, I'm trying to win my worth. So they take these contexts, just like how they attack everybody else who goes against the Democrats, and they take it out of context, because a lot of people don't know about me. In every one of those videos that they show, those individuals started attacking me, not the other way around. If you look at the City Hall brawl, those women are ghetto. They were causing all kinds of disruption in the City Hall chambers back in 2022. They were never asked to leave. Unlike my group, I had a sign that said, "Believe all people." And Ed Flynn stopped the meeting just to walk over to me and talk about, you can't have signs here. I'm sitting here recording, haven't said one word, and you're coming after me for a sign. You kicked another person out for having the same sign I gave to them. That was Shana Cantone, but yet you haven't asked these women. We originally left, came back because when Tanya was doing a whole spectacle, like, what do I gotta prove to be a Black woman? The noise that you hear in the background were those women. They were invited by the city councilors, Arroyo, Tanya, Kendra, and Julie McKeer all knew who they were for the spectacle. When we walked back in, the police don't use the racist remarks right now, considering every person in this room who's a counselor, especially one of color, went along with Michelle Wu's lies, calling a diverse group of people, their constituents, hateful, misogynist, and racist. Don't use that. And I called them out. The most that me and Catherine said, like, these women have been making, and that's when they erupted, because now we're holding you someone accountable. We weren't even trying to interact with them. They were being rude, being racist, making typical requests. It's like watching a TikTok video of a woman, oh, F you, when I see you outside, I'm gonna go F you up and did this. It's like, oh, whatever. I brushed it off. I didn't take them seriously. Even one of them made a threat in front of a police officer. When I addressed the police officer, he's acting like I'm not talking to you. You hear them making them threats. So we held our ground. They left first. But in another video, you see the person who started trouble with Frank Baker, actually. She got up voluntarily to leave the room. And when she saw Baker, she made us until he blew a kiss. And they said, oh, sexual harassment. And the video, and she was waiting when her group finally left. Her group was up all the way up in the hallway. She waited for me to come out, walk side by side. And when I put the camera on her, because I knew she was up to something, she hits the phone out of my hands, assaulting me. And again, I brushed it off. I've seen this behavior with that type of woman. When I went to go grab the phone, she proceeds to pick it up and walk off. She got pushed up against the wall because I'm not playing the game. You'll see the video that he constantly uses, where she's swinging around like this. I was like, I'm not playing games with a grown adult. I want my phone back. Until this day, she still has it. I even have on video. She claims that she still has my phone, knowing that it doesn't belong to her. But they'll sit there because, again, just like I said with the security guard from the State House, because I'm a man, you're going to use that rhetoric. Oh, look at this big black man attacking this woman. Oh, you're a woman beater. And the same thing, you look at the outside picture of those two white girls that you see in the JP. Me and Catherine were part of Blexit, the organization that's tied with Turning Point, USA Charlie Kirk. We did an open streets in Boston in JP. We had some altercations from like the trans community over there, sticking up their middle fingers, telling us we both should die, even though you've never met neither one of us. Catherine's bisexual, I'm gay, and you're a trans, and you're telling us to go die. Right. And then I guess they figure, like, I was the security guard. Let's go get these two women because he's not going to do anything. I stopped them from spray painting our sign. I wrestled the spray can out of their hands. Instead of them just leaving, you chose two white women to go attack a black man. Mind you, I could have balled up my fist and punched him in the face, and instead, you got pushed away. But yet you still chose to keep attacking me. Then you look at the video of the trans person on the bicycle. He kept calling Catherine the C word over and over again, purposely riding his bike in front of her car after honking. And she was not able to go around him because there's other cars on the other side. And then when she made her comment about, at least I have a C, he purposely stopped the bike, nearly getting hit, and told her to get out the car. I'm the one who got out the car instead and challenged him. I'm not playing games with these people. I am not the soft conservative. I grew up Gen X. I will mind my business until you involve me. And I've told people before, do not put your hands on me, my property, or the people who are around me, because I will react. I'm not a violent person. You will be restrained or pushed away. But do not think these tactics of getting people to put their hands on me, it's going to fly. And I don't care what you identify as. My parents could have raised me completely different, but again, I'm nonviolent. You will be restrained or you will be pushed away. But his account and their accounts don't go anywhere. It's basically the same person with a burner account, recycling the same stuff. He's still talking about stuff that happened back in 2022 to the day, and barely no one pays attention to him other than the same exact trolls. Because I saw that post. The person you were talking to, she's the same person that attacks Catherine. She's the same person who goes after anybody else who's conservative or who's trying to make positive change to smear and attack anybody, but no one cares. Most people have seen those videos. Most people knows what goes on. It's like, I have one comment says, like, why would you even bother to go put your hands on Shawn, who is 6'3" and weighs over 250 pounds? You must be stupid. But they do this because they believe, he's not going to do anything to me. You're right, I'm not going to do anything to you, but I will defend myself. I am not going to allow you to bully or attack me.
I think it was good to get your side of that. I know more than anybody about internet trolls, and they always have an agenda, and they're coming from a certain place or from certain people. So I appreciate that you cleared that up. Let's just end this with talking about your candidacy. You are a veteran, you're a black man, you're a gay man, you're running for office in Boston. Talk to me about who your opponent is, if you have one, and what this election season is looking like for you. How's the campaign going? What do you need? And what are your chances of actually securing a seat?
Well, right now, it's not like I have 11 people running for Tanya Fernandez in the seat. So Tanya was the one that was caught, embezzling money by doing a kickback to either a family member or someone close to her family who she hired to, I'm going to give you a bonus, and I'll give that bonus back to me to pay off some bills. So by her vacating that seat, and also, again, city council chose not to have a special election for that because they are trying to get their own person in that seat, whoever that could possibly be. So obviously it opened up the seat, so everyone came running for it. Originally, I think there was about 15 to 16 people who initially ran for the seat, and 11 of them were able to get on the ballot with signatures. So there's a whole lot of people, and it's hard for me to keep track of them. But it's up in the air. You have some people that you kind of see, like maybe this is the person that Michelle Wu and the city council is backing. You see a lot of signs. You see a lot of people talking about I'm a Democrat, even though city council is nonpartisan. We just had a forum for the first time for all 11 of us. It went well, but you can kind of tell like a lot of using the whole narrative, like not really doing anything. It's been kind of slow because right now it's really just me. Brian Foley has been helping me off to the side with his own campaign, but mostly it's been me. Slow donations. As you see the sign in the back, I was able to get just enough donations to print out about maybe 15 yard signs that I've been putting up. I made a mistake. It was supposed to be a flyer, but it became a poster, but I've been slowly putting those up. It's kind of difficult in the city of Boston because you don't really know anybody. No one's saying, hey, yeah, you can come over here. Not everyone's really volunteering or giving donations. But fortunately, I've had 2 other people in the recent days give donations. So it's been slow because, again, it's just me. I don't have a car. So it's hard. I'm on foot, basically. I put up a majority of my signs. I'm trying to keep at least 2 because I'm going to probably do standouts. But it's been going slow with the help of ChatGPT that Brian introduced me. It's easier for me to make statements and post up online. I had to recreate my website from scratch because I lost access to the first one. But again, it's really only been me. Everyone, again, they give me the loves and the hearts, and it's really thankful, but I actually need boots on the ground and people coming out and putting up signs saying, oh, I'll put up a sign in D7, but D7, there are people who are connected to the city hall. It's not like this, hey, can you put up this sign? So it's been slow and going, but you're doing your best with what you have.
So while we have everybody here listening, let's tell them where they can get in touch with you. So if you have a website, let's say it for everybody, your Facebook page, and how they can connect with you directly so they can actually jump on board if they would like to help or to donate.
The site is Shawn for District 7, the number 7, where you can go actually do a donation. For my emails, I would tell people to email me directly to my email account. The email through the website, it's not working that well. It's my name in reverse, so it's Nelson, Shawn, SHAWN, the number 4 at gmail.com if you want to send me a direct message. On X, it is Shawn for Boston. For Facebook, it's my name, no special, Shawn Nelson. You'll see me wearing that blue suit, and you can send me a direct message or you can make a comment, and that's as simple as that. And I check them on a regular basis. So feel free if you want to donate or help out with putting up extra signs. Right now, I'm supposedly connecting with Brian because he made some kind of homemade flyers that I can cut out and then use to go to Staples, make copy and paste, and so this way I'm not wasting so much money. And just right now, it's just based about door knocking, meeting the people, holding up signs, and that's what we need because we're going in within 2 weeks, and everyone else is getting their signs out. I've seen people from my opponents, flyers, text messages, but I don't have the resources to go do those things because I spend all my money on my campaign flyers and my signs.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke earlier today and I continue to talk about campaigns are tough. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of money. and you can have the right message and you can have the heart and you can have a ground game, but to be competitive, you need help and you need some resources. So we put your website in our page so people can connect with that. You've got all of Shawn's information. I just thought it was a really great time to introduce my listeners to you. I say this all the time. There are never perfect candidates, and not everybody is the perfect person to step up. But making change starts somewhere. You're doing your part. You've been out there on the ground. I love to see someone get out and call out elected officials. I mean, I don't use a bullhorn, but I know it's the option some people do use, and you're trying to get your voice heard. I have a lot of respect for what you do. I know that you served in our military. I thank you for your service there. And I just wanted to thank you for coming on. What you could do, if you don't mind, is let us know when you do have a sign holding. We'd like to share it so that followers would be able to maybe head up to Boston and get out there and hold a sign or two for you.
Nothing's really scheduled. It's just like, again, it's when I have the time. Most of the time it's going to probably be like Friday evenings, and the weekends usually the best time. But then also waking up really early, 6, to get the traffic out there at different locations in Boston. But I will post them up on Facebook saying, hey, I'm going to go out on this time and do this. And like I said, if someone wants to come down and use a sign for a time and bring it back to me, because like I said, right now I only have the 2 to 3 signs to hold up. Anyone's welcome to say, I can go do this, I can go do that, I can go door knocking. And Roxbury is not that dangerous, people. I walk these streets all the time. It's loving neighborhoods. That's it. I just need the help. That's all it is. Because again, I always, people say, oh, we need somebody to run for office. But when that person runs, it's hard, because again, the shares and the likes help, but you need to go past that. It's like getting off the computer now and like knocking on that door and holding out a flyer and holding up that sign, because they have all these people, they have all these unions, they have their employees, they have all their connections to go do this stuff. And people like me, you don't fall. So I think I just saw a comment from a friend from the North Shore. She said she was in Roxbury. I don't see any of your signs. Where is stuff at? I was about to reply, and so because I'm limited. I have like 250 posters are great, but in the city of Boston, I can't put them up anywhere I want to. And I don't know the residents like that, whether they would go do that. So there's limited spaces where I can put up a sign, but people just standing on the street and handing out a flyer is great. Like, I think later on today, when stuff calms down, put up another sign and then check with Brian. And this way I can just, hey, I'm running for city District 7. Here's a flyer. Here's something to hand out to them. But this is, like you said, it's hard work. It does take money to buy these supplies.
If anybody's interested in helping Shawn, helping him organize, donating to his campaign, all his info is up here for you. Shawn, thanks for coming on. Thanks for chatting, giving us your backstory. Thanks for stepping up and trying to serve, and for all that you do.
Yeah, it's my baby prop, like Michelle Wu.
She's watching, Shawn.
Oh, good. Michelle, I'll be seeing you soon, because those arrests, as you clearly see, are not working. See you soon, Michelle.
Thanks, Shawn.
Thank you.
All right. Erin saying she didn't see one bad comment. That is Shawn Nelson. Shawn has a very lengthy history of activism, which I think, from what we're hearing, started during COVID lockdowns. I get a little triggered thinking and talking about COVID, because it's almost like hard to believe we actually lived through that, you guys. I don't know. So thanks to Shawn for coming on. For those of you who live near me, Boston seems like such a faraway place. I mean, I'm there, but it's just the politics and what's going on. I actually just I'm very disconnected from. But if it weren't for Bostonians Against Mayor Wu, that Twitter account, if you're not following them, you should. They're my bestie. They are just doing such a great job of highlighting what exactly is going on in the city. And, if you care about the state, you should care about what's going on in the city. I think Shawn has this thing about him which reminds me of Aiden and reminds me of myself in a way, where you have someone who chooses to become an activist, and that is born out of like wanting to make change. And it's very easy for you to get this reputation of not being a good guy, being a bad guy, getting the courts involved, getting the police involved. You know, Shawn, myself, Aiden, and then others, you get this, you know, the Can 9, for example, you all now are associated with court cases and getting arrested. And I think like the way that we're raised, because we're all good people, court cases bad, arrests bad, you know, you think of it as a bad thing. And the people in power who want to silence you, they leverage that power, they use that power, and it does the job, because the regular average person like you and I goes, you can't have a record, you can't get arrested. I mean, I grew up with an absolute fear of getting arrested. Never thought I would. I mean, I grew up a good kid. You know what I mean? We all do. Like, that's the thing, you know, like Aiden Carney wasn't out there, you know, breaking into cars and stealing cars and breaking into houses when he was 13, 14 years old. You know what I mean? Like, I was a really good kid. As an adult, I say the story all the time. The day I got arraigned, you know, the judge asked the clerk for my file, and the girl said, there is none. There was no file. You know, I think there is a group of adults who are getting so frustrated with the politics, so frustrated with the way things are. We have no choice but to now like become part of this arena of, you know, court cases and arrests and arraignments and district attorneys. And it's just a lot. And so I say this all the time. Not every candidate is perfect. I make mistakes. I've made mistakes. Shawn has made mistakes. You'll continue to make mistakes, but those things are highlighted and leveraged by the people in power who don't want these people to gain power. I remember hearing somebody tell, I was running for school committee as an activist trying to change things in my community, and the guy whose seat was being vacated, nice guy. I think TT remembers him from some keggers back in the day, but he called me and he said he got a call from some of the stakeholders, big power players in the town, and they called him and said, you should run again. And he said, I'm not going to run. And they said, Jess Machado is going to run, and we can't let her get on there. And that changed everything for me. It opened a whole new thing where you're going, okay, so people in power are trying to stop me from running for office and from me getting elected. And that's just a small little town of Somerset. Think about what happens on a bigger scale. Think about what happens in Norfolk County. Think about what's happening in Boston with Mayor Wu. So follow Shawn, follow my besties, Anti-Wu Coalition, Bostonians Against Wu. All of those websites and groups are great. How are we doing? How's everybody doing? Good. Everybody's doing great. Down the bottom of the screen. Oh, those are my Venmos. So just so you know, I know some people were giving me super chatties. Is that the super chats and things like that? I also get people who are donating from Venmo. I will read all of those at the end and thank you. Still not great with, oh, I just got some tea. Can I pause for a second? Stand by. Wait, I got tea. Wait, can you guys talk amongst Erin? Can you jump on, read some things? I've got political tea on my phone. I love you all, but I can't not see this. I'm sorry. Stand by.
Good morning, guys. Can you shut
No,
yourself
you can
up?
go ahead.
Is this the right one? Can everybody hear me? Oh, God. Oh, Lord is right. Hey, TT. All right, so how's everybody doing? Can you read it? Do you want to share it out? I need to be like a teacher. Can you share it with the class or no?
I can't share this with the class,
Okay.
but
Muted. Let's take a look.
stop it. I die.
Hey, Ben. Hey, TT. Hello, sister. Oh my gosh, we're a mess. So, do you guys like the curtains? Is this better for now? Better than being a doctor's office background? I'm not going to be good at that one either. I did see it a few minutes ago, but she's got the tea, so I didn't want to interrupt. 5-second rule, you have to share, they're saying. Don't say because the people are now counting it and you're up to like triple digits. Just so you know. Oh my goodness. Who's letting me do this? Sorry, Lindsay. There's a comment in there I'm ignoring.
Can't read it.
Rude.
I'm feeling very powerful right now.
And
Somebody play the I have the power from
don't sing it. Don't sing because you're gonna get demonetized.
We got flagged for copyright infringement, and I think it was my friend Jeff's commercial.
I think it was her singing
Erin
the Doobie
thinks
Brothers.
when I was singing the Doobie Brother, you don't know me. I don't think that was How can that be copyright?
I said this before. It wasn't
Erin matches
intentional.
the curtains. It wasn't intentional. I'm loving that we have curtains here. This is great. We have the screen.
Oh gosh.
Can I read some comments?
You can.
Someone finally added address the
They're counting.
Are they counting?
What do you want me to do? Do you want me to get a taser? And I can buzz you every time. Do you want me to just
Squirt
get
me with the
something?
water bottle
A
like
water
a cat?
bottle. Oh, close enough. Meow meow.
How about a little bzz, bzz thing? I like there's a different energy here than on radio. This is a thing. I have to work through it. I will try to control the ums. I don't walk back, and look back, but I do, and I clearly have a problem. Love the name Judgmental. Who said that?
Funny. I should have put up a breaking news banner.
What
would I get the T?
I can't.
Breaking news, just for her, not for the rest of us. She's not sharing.
I can't.
One demerit.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe at the next one. Let's just say, well, it's political.
Good or bad?
So
Good or bad? Was it? I guess you can't really answer.
Validating on 1,000 levels. I can't do it because literally before it got sent to me, it was like, do not share. And I was like, okay, I won't share. But also like, I'm here with my besties and man, I want to share, but it's okay. I can't. Any more? Okay. Good morning, everybody. Has anybody heard any why Mayor Headland from Weymouth resigned in July? Is he sick or something else going on? I heard about this and I don't know. Shit.
We're gonna get shits instead of.
I heard that maybe he was ill, but I do not know. Do we want to count ums? I don't care. I don't care. It's a lot. It's a lot.
I don't think it's fair to whoever's going to be counting. They're not going to be able to pay attention to anything else.
Yeah.
We're going to know it's a lot. I'll bring a water bottle next time.
We won't count.
I'll bring the squirt bottle next time.
Can we tell a story?
You can do whatever you'd like. This is the Just Michelle.
Can I drop you pictures?
You sure can.
Okay. We're going to tell a story about something because it's politics and maybe it's a little old, but it's coming into play again. And I feel it's important. So I'm going to send the pictures to Erin. I don't know if you're going to be able to like pull them because it's like a news story that I took the screenshots of because I had to pay to get the story because it's paywalls. I hate paywalls.
Okay,
but it was that kind of pay, like it was a paywall. So I
this one, we got to chat this out after whoever this person is.
No need to comment on every chat.
A lot of thoughts.
Like I'm not commenting on every chat. Am I?
I'm not sure. I feel like I can do no right with whoever AB is here. So we're going to have a chat.
But if you're doing something to Erin, we're not going to allow it.
We need to have a chat later.
Oh, somebody just sent me a thing that is good around paywalls. Thank you. But I paid. So I'm going to send it to Erin. Stand by. But there is let me pull it up and then we'll talk about the story. Here it is. I love how my ads in the paywall are Fashion Nova because I've been looking at things. So you'll see like Fashion Nova ads or whatever. But so, okay. So I sent you a couple screenshots. You can pull them up. It's not that big of a deal. So there is a woman who is a city councilor in Fall River and her name is Linda Pereira. Okay. Now, Linda Pereira is like the most quintessential Fall River city councilor of all time. If you ever are feeling like you've got nothing to do and the Gilded Age is on hiatus until the next season, go and look at a city council meeting where Linda Pereira talks. And she is just a quintessential Fall River politician. Now, I am friendly with her daughter. And I mean, no disrespect by any of this. This isn't coming from like a personal place of dislike. This is coming from I'm a political pundit type person, and I care about this stuff. Linda Pereira would like to keep Paul Coogan as mayor right now. This is Jamie is telling me don't. Jamie, listen. Linda Pereira was a city councilor, and then she stopped being a city councilor, and now Linda Pereira is back. But what I think is important to know is that at an event, let me just read you the story. I'll read it, and you make a decision. Got that in there for you. A joke about Black people at a testimonial dinner was grounds for the Department of Social Services to fire an employee, the Supreme Judicial Court ruled yesterday, overturning a lower court that she be reinstated. Linda Pereira, who was also a Fall River City Council member from 1991 to 1995, was fired in April of 1996 after 12 years at the Department of Social Services. In 1998, a Suffolk Superior Court judge agreed that the firing violated her right to free speech and ordered her reinstated with back pay. The judge also held former DSS Commissioner Linda Carlisle individually liable for damages. But yesterday, the Supreme Court overturned the verdict, ruling that the DSS's interest in protecting its reputation outweighed Pereira's rights to free speech. The controversy started when Pereira made comments at a dinner for former city councilors, along with complaints that she was defeated for her bid for re-election because of election fraud. Pereira made a joke about Black people. I know what the joke was. It was in reference to their hair on their head being similar to pubic hair, if I'm correct. It's okay. You don't have to. I'm reading it. According to a case summary, the Department of Social Services area director received 25 phone calls expressing outrage over the incident once it was reported in the news media, and one DSS employee was denied entrance to a client's home. According to the summary, a client denied the DSS worker entrance because of Linda Pereira. If DSS can hire a racist worker, then DSS must be racist, the person said. Because of those incidents, the court ruled yesterday that the Department of Social Services could reasonably conclude that Pereira's behavior had affected the integrity of the Department of Social Services in the Fall River community. No kidding. Pereira's lawyer could not be reached for comment, and a phone number for Pereira could not be determined. DSS spokeswoman Carole Yelverton said the department had not only fully reviewed the decision, but was pleased with the outcome. Now, remember how I said no politician is perfect? Nobody is perfect. Linda Pereira made this comment at a public, think about this. This is 1998, 1996, whatever. Just think about this. It's 2025, and a bunch of city council members and former city council members, wherever you live, are all together at an event. And Linda Pereira gets up and she lost her election, and she's bitching about voter fraud or voter integrity. How Republican of you, Linda, when you're a lifelong Dem. But let's just say she was the forerunner when it came to voter fraud and voter integrity. And she gets up and she makes a joke about Black people and their hair. You'd be canceled today. You would never be able to serve again. Now, Linda was fired, and then she didn't serve. And somehow, some way, Linda Pereira is now back elected as a member of the city council in Fall River. And I really, truly believe people just have limited memory on things, which is fine. Maybe there is some sort of repenting. In my opinion, I don't think Linda Pereira ever thought she did anything wrong. I think that she never thought that there was anything inappropriate about those comments. I know that because she said that to me years ago, and people that she is friendly with defended her and said it was not intended to be racist. It is racist, and you can't talk like that. You can't talk about that 30 years ago. You can't talk like that now. And it, somehow, some way, Linda Pereira is now back on the city council making decisions for, the city of Fall River. And from what I'm hearing, and I have no confirmation on this, but I don't really talk unless I have some receipts, is out there talking against Christopher Sylvia, who's running for mayor, and like his things that he has had in his history or whatever. I would sit this one out, Lind. I would sit it out. I don't think you should be getting involved at all unless you are sitting and coming from a place of righteousness. I don't think you should. You have your own skeletons to worry about, which nobody is holding against you. People are not bringing up. People who have run against you have not brought up. I mean, they could have, and they chose not to. What a lucky break for you. I think the first time some people have ever heard about you talking about Black people in a public speech is today, right now. So I think it's best for you to sit this one out. Worry about your own election, because I'll tell you something. If somebody starts talking about this and starts going around and knocking on the doors of African-American voters in your city, of which there are many, maybe you're not going to get the votes you think you should get. Okay? All right. I'm just saying. Bunny ears on for that one? Bunny ears off. It's like my Batman mask. We do bunny ears when we want to get trappy and then scrappy. And now we're just going to get back and be a little bit more serious. What is going on in the chat? Fill me in. And also, can we go to 12 today and not 1?
We're going to be echoey. We know there's going to be echoes. I tried the other mic last week. It works. It doesn't work. We know. We know. Yes. OG. Call her daddy. Let's see. That was a nice long for you. You want to go through that? Do you want to scroll back a little bit? Do you want to go through?
I miss chatting with the besties.
Yes, take a few. Not too much. Listen, I'm going to say it too now.
In 2022, Linda topped the city council ticket with more than 1,000 votes ahead of second place. Facts, because nobody was talking about this. Seriously. 2023. How dare you, Ben? Get your facts right. Currently put transfer papers back. TT's currently putting her transfer papers. First of all, I'm sorry, TT.
She's never going to get
Everybody
the
knows that
again.
what I do has absolutely nothing to do with TT. TT and I do not see eye and eye politically on anything, I think. Anyway, so there's that. Let me check my phone because it's been beeping.
And I made sure she doesn't have the sound on because I know AB didn't like that either last time. The noise, your notifications were on.
Jen O is in the chat if Erin wants to throw her a wrench.
I have seen her. I don't know where she went.
I still don't know what wrenches are.
Well, I gave some out earlier.
What is it? Oh, you give out presents to people?
I did. Well, Nurse Kim, and because it makes the other people stand out more. So I don't know. I mean, do we need more wrenches in here? I feel like it's going okay. We know all the things, Mr., Mrs., AB, not sure. We do know all the things. We are trying to work on it. But again, there's very few minutes when we have time to do this. I'm trying to make the merch. I'm trying to get her to give me the login still so I can do some of these other things. We're trying to hang the curtains. We're trying to get the Wi-Fi to work. There's a lot. We don't have a lot of time,
The week it starts one way and then it goes down another way.
So a lot of things on our wish list to do, and then exactly like you said earlier, you'll get a story or the kids will need something.
Sometimes
I packed up to go to New York last night. That was very unexpected, so I had an off morning this morning. It's just there's a lot, there's a lot.
Sometimes you open your mouth about other YouTubers and it causes a lot of drama.
No, why? Stop it. I literally said that we're not. Nope, she didn't say that. We're not even talking about it because if the comments start now.
We're not doing that. We have too much work to do. I have too much work to do. It's 11 o'clock. We're going to pull up the Substack story that we wrote.
Are you doing memberships so we can support Jess? So Melanie was on my ass about this before and last week. So I tried. I'm looking at it now. I am logged in on this other screen that you guys can't see. I have my YouTube, which I don't use for anything, and I have Jessica's, but I don't know that it's Jessica's all the way. It's not showing up as a channel. I didn't see anything. There was something I could have clicked, but I am very afraid to click anything while we're in the middle of the show because I don't want to shut anything off. So we are going to look into that later.
What are memberships though?
Memberships for the YouTube. Remember, that's the thing somebody said earlier, Aiden said that's his bread and butter. The donations are nice little trinkets that people throw at you, but the memberships are I'm assuming like your Substack membership kind of thing, you know, I'm not really
Also,
sure.
I have new subscribers on my X account, but I don't even remember setting that up. I don't know anything about that either.
So I am working on this. I'm also hoping maybe if I say it on like live with all the people here, it'll put a little bit more pressure on you. But I'm kind of hoping maybe not like every week, but once in a while to get like a second day in here, like for admin stuff, where we can just get in here and focus and not just come in here just for this stuff. Because when we're done with this, we usually like catch up or like take notes or people will call and all that good stuff. So I'm hoping that I can get her in here at a separate time and maybe we can like hammer through some of this stuff. I'm trying, guys.
Okay. Thank you.
Who's this? Do you
I say it's 11, so let's get going on the Substack for the Bethesda House. So if we can pull up that story. So we're going to talk about this, and then we may have several women who are going to jump on. If that's the case, this may be the first time that we kind of have multi people on. I know that we definitely have one person, but now I think some people are available to join. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up this story about Bethesda House. We're going to talk about it, and then we're going to see who is available to jump on and talk about it. And we'll talk about that. Thank you, Erin, and thank you to everybody for the chatting. So the recent murder of Kylie Montero is pretty tragic. Kylie is down here in the Rehoboth area, which is 2 towns over from where I am. I think everybody was following the story. I think a lot of people saw that this might not have a really great outcome. And indeed, we learned this week that Kylie has been murdered by her boyfriend. But one of the parts of the story that I think was overlooked, because obviously there's a lot more to look at, was that Kylie had been living at a women's shelter. And we've learned since then that Bethesda House is the shelter where she was staying. I don't have confirmation on what led her to leave Bethesda House. I have a couple of unconfirmed reports on that. And out of the respect for the family, we're not going to reach out to them and ask that. We're just going to go with what we've learned. And thank you to one of my followers who connected me to this Facebook group that I think really opened my eyes to what Bethesda House is from the perspective of women that stayed there. So I wrote this story about women that I connected with that talked about their experience. Interestingly enough, I'm going to be honest with you. Are there 2 sides to every story? Absolutely. I will tell you that in order for me to report properly, I always want to get a statement or something from the other side. I called Bethesda House relentlessly to try to get a comment. I called, they even have like a store where they sell items and the profits from that go to Bethesda House. I called there and I spoke with someone because, first of all, there was already a little chatter that I was talking about them. It's possible that they were onto it. So dodging my phone calls could have been strategic, but I even went so far as to call the store. I spoke with an employee there. I told her who I was and what I was doing. I had her take my name and my number down, and I told her that my interest here was to speak with Nurse Porter and tell her about what I had heard from these women and get a statement from her. I left multiple messages. I called multiple times at a time when I know that there were people there. They chose not to respond and not to answer. So what you're hearing in this article and what you're going to hear today, it may be one-sided, but the other side has had ample opportunity to talk to me or at least make a blanket statement and say, you know what, this isn't quite it or whatever. Now, in this article, you'll see Bethesda House and Nurse Porter from there actually reached out to one of the women who started this support group online about Bethesda House and was trying to circle back and make it sound like it wasn't really what she thought it was. And so my thought process is you can actually talk, but you know, you probably should have mentioned it to me or talked to me instead of talking to the person. If I remove myself, will you still hear me? Like if I remove me, or how do we just go big screen? I don't know how it works. Oh, that works. So Bethesda House is a women's shelter that helps women who are either pregnant or with children. There is a part on their website that does speak about them having a religious requirement. With that being said, this is a very interesting place. And I have heard from people who have worked there. I do believe some people as volunteers did not know the extent of what these women are considering trauma or abuse that they experienced. And that's fine. But I think a lot of what I'm hearing is just related to the director of this program and what she did. So this Sarah S. is one of the women that I spoke with, and she talked about living at the shelter, not having a great relationship with her mom. She went to the shelter. She understood that they didn't care about her religious beliefs, but in the same breath said that she had to go to church every Sunday regardless. A religious requirement is a part of going to the shelter. It sounds to me like some women needed a place to go and that they were upfront and said, listen, this isn't my cup of tea, but I understand it and I'll participate. Sarah said that she agreed, thought that she would have to sit through an hour of someone else's religion. She thought that was fine. She didn't mind and she would be respectful. But a few weeks later, she said that they needed to be more engaged and act like we actually wanted to be there. Again, she said, okay, because she actually liked the church. But after that, they wanted more involvement from her. She signed up. She said she would help with the nursery, but they wouldn't let her do that. And instead, they wanted her to do Bible study, which, again, she didn't agree with because it wasn't her religion and she didn't believe in it. For her, she said she was kicked out of the shelter due to a private conversation she had in the privacy of her room where staff was listening. She said she was speaking with a friend about another mom's separation from the group and was told that it, quote, painted Bethesda House in a negative light. On that day, she was asked again by staff if she had rethought about adoption for my baby. This seems to be a common theme amongst participants in Bethesda House, being asked and or pressured to adopt their children out. And she said no. That night she went upstairs, she called her mom and she warned her that she thought she would be kicking out. And sure enough, the following Monday she was called to the office. She was told that she had 10 minutes to pack her stuff. She had to be out. I spoke with Bailey, who was there for 3 months, and she says that during her time period there, her mental health deteriorated to the lowest point it had ever been in her life. On paper, it sounds like it's a supportive, wonderful place, but for new moms and pregnant women, it wasn't true. She said there was a strict schedule forcing them to go to church, threats of child protective services, and if they left Bethesda House that they would be, quote, bad mothers. It was unbearable for her, she said. They made my day and day watch her videos about giving her baby up for adoption and how it might be the right fit. She called her dad daily, crying over that because there was never a doubt in her mind that she ever wanted to keep her child. She was not interested in adoption. But after completing watching the video, it would show up the next day again for her to watch. She talks about a controlling point system where points get deducted if you even breathe the wrong way around the director, Missy. And that's who I was speaking about, Missy Porter. First deduction was because her room wasn't clean to their standards. She says she was a neat freak and it was spotless. The second deduction was when her uncle passed away. She couldn't make it to his funeral. She was crying. She was emotional and upset. She ate breakfast, quote, 5 minutes after breakfast was over, and she got a deduction. I've heard about the point system from others, and it was pretty strict. Now, I'll pause there and say, I do understand that in order to kind of have a facility like this and not having participated in one or run one, I certainly am not going to knock that there needs to be structure and rules. But again, I'm hearing that there is a very controlling, manipulative theme going on surrounding this house. And I'm wondering, why does that have to be the case? When you're running this, like they don't have to exist at the same time. You can have rules and structure and not create an environment where these women are saying that it is difficult for them. I should mention all of the women that I spoke with in here are all doing well and in a great place in their life. And it is a negative time in their life to talk about Bethesda House. And many of them feel that, going through a certain circumstance where they are either homeless and have no support system or anything, that this should have been a better experience for them, but it is now linked to trauma and their experience with Nurse Porter. She went on to say that Bethesda House was hell on earth, in her words. It's a place that's supposed to be safe and secure for women who have already gone through traumatic experiences, domestic violence, and more. And it is literally just a place for us mothers and babies to be used for donations, according to this mom. They don't care about the women there, and they don't care about the trauma we've been through. And they certainly don't care about how their actions affect us. Hannah B. was a resident there from May in 2019 to January of 2020. She was carelessly kicked out in a snowstorm with her newborn son. She was in a really depressed headspace, just couldn't stop crying, catch my breath, or even convey to her friend what was going on because she was such an emotional wreck. Her story, Hannah talks a lot about postpartum depression, and she was diagnosed with that at a hospital. And in order for her to get treatment, it conflicted with church, and therefore they wouldn't allow her to participate in this treatment, but instead, told her that she had to participate in the church services. So she goes on, and this is I don't want to do this story disservice. They're all very impactful, but there's a lot of detail here that I would encourage you to go to my Substack at Jess Machado Show, and you can, thank you, Aaron. And then you can talk a little bit about it. There may be some moms in here that have jumped on. I just shared the link to the group chat. So Emily A. Is a former Bethesda House resident. She is the one who received contact just yesterday when this story dropped, or just prior to, from Miss Porter, basically trying to change the narrative of this. But Emily and others have filed a report with the Attorney General's office in Massachusetts. I included that here. They talked about people filing complaints. The shelter is abusive. We have many women who have lived here and volunteered who can testify to that. Missy Porter is the director. She has called the Department of Social Services on me for a panic attack that she induced. They didn't open a case because it was not necessary. Her program is like that of a cult. She also pushes adoption on girls, including myself, saying we are unfit mothers. She Ubered Kylie Montero to her murderer's house after kicking her out for being in the hospital with and missing a group meeting. This woman is evil. She abuses women and extorts their kids for profit. She also has pictures of my daughter on her social media after I told her to take them down because I do not support them. She uses your food stamps to feed volunteers. She has a point system and kicks people out for no reason. The home houses 8, yet it is only usually filled with 2 to 3 moms. I've been trying to get this out for 5 years. Please help. So this is the words that were used in the report that was filed with the Attorney General's office against Bethesda House. And then Emily herself received a text message from Nurse Porter, and I've included that in this story as well. And then I ended it by saying that we called Bethesda House many times to try to speak with Nurse Porter and get some sort of a statement from them. And I think so many times when something bad happens, like for example, the Gabriel House fire in Fall River, something bad unfortunately happened there where 10 people lost their lives, but it has now caused eyes to take a second look at the fire department there and whether or not the city of Fall River was equipped to handle a situation like this with the fire alarms and smoke detectors or the sprinkler system. Some of these things were out of code and had been out of code for years, and nobody looked at that. And so while there is no silver lining to a tragedy of Kylie Montero, there is an opportunity for people to now start looking at the system surrounding women who are pregnant and homeless and have no family. Kylie did not have a mother or a father. They're both deceased. And what do these programs look like? And then again, I hate to say this, but I go back to the sheer dollar amount of money being spent on people who were not a part of the Massachusetts life cycle here and of being, shipped here from the border, and the amount of money that we have spent on that. And then we have people who, until this, I'm not really sure I ever recognized that there was a need for this. And is the system flawed? Is it broken? And could it use funding and support and structure to make it a better experience for women who are involved? I don't know how many women we have had jump in here. Do we have 1 or 2? Went away. Let's see if we have anybody who is jumping. Let's give that a second. Hello. Hi. I'm just wondering, Jack, if you guys know that I do a show on Saturdays. How do you not know? You're my son. How do you not know I do a show on Saturday? Huh? I'm surely live right now. Yes. It's okay. You don't have to apologize. Is this something you could text me? That's all right. Please text me and let me know what you're doing. Thank you. Love you too. Let's see. Sorry about that, but it's just, let's see what's going on in the chat. I thought we had someone. So we do have someone that was ready to jump on, and then we also had, let's give them a minute. I don't know if any of them have ever done this or used StreamYard before. Let's give them a second. And for those, my poor son, now he's feeling so bad, just to let you know, like, yeah, so my son is not a new driver. He's been driving for 6 months or so, but we're getting him prepped for commuting to college. And so today is the day where he's going to drive out that way. And it includes highway driving, and he's not good at it. And so everyone just went like this. But anyway, let me work on encouraging and saying good luck and you can do this, and let me know when you get there. Anybody jump in? Okay, give me 1 second and we'll see if anybody mom life, it's so true. I mean, I hate to say it, but if this is not like so on brand for me, that my kids are, one, forgetting that I'm here, number two, are calling me and texting me. Check the finances of Bethesda. In any state or federal assistance, they should not be allowed to demand religious threats. So I already have, thank you, AB. So Bethesda House is a nonprofit, and so their tax filings are public. So I already started looking into that. And oh, Lily is here. Awesome. And so that is another layer. There's a little bit more that I've done on Bethesda House as far as research goes, including the people who run it, how they're funded, and other things. But for the sake of the story that I wrote today, I wanted the focus to be on the women who were there and their story. We'll get into the technical stuff that I've uncovered after this. In the meantime, I think we do have Lily, who has joined us today, and we're going to bring her on. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning. It's nice to join.
Before I start, I just want to say thanks for joining us. This story has gotten a lot of attention, and a lot of people are very interested in the Bethesda House and the experiences that some women had. I just want to be upfront. I don't know your experience. I don't know if it was a good or a bad one. You just said that you had participated there and you wanted to tell your story. So I'm willing to let you speak and tell our listeners more about it. And you could have had a great experience. I don't know, but I thought it would be great for you to come on and tell us a little bit about it, if you're okay.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely like to share my experience. And although I won't say it like, it was kind of bad during my time there. Missy can be very like manipulative, and she tries to be very convincing and persuasive with the way that she says things. So it kind of like she sugarcoats it in a way that it makes her look good and sound good, but in reality, it really isn't. It's just like mind games that she would play. When I first started going there, I was young. I had my daughter at 16. By the time I was in Bethesda House, I was 18. My daughter was about 18-ish months old. And I really just went there looking to just like get a better broadcast of like resources and what's out there. Cause I was struggling. I was young. I didn't know what to do. I was lost. So I just needed some guidance, and me and my mother, we would butt heads, and I didn't really have the resources at my house that I could have needed somewhere else. And while she did have those resources to give out, which got me into the position that like I kind of am in today in a way, just because in a way, like for me, she at least just was like, oh, here's school, here's this, here's that. But then that came with, okay, now it's like you have to give, it was like $100 a month to just live there. I don't even really know why or where the money would actually like go, but We would have to pay $100 a month to live there. And then she would take all of our money out of our bank accounts, and she would have to see like our bank statements to actually know what's in our bank accounts. She would keep records of everything. It was very controlling. And there were other girls there at the time that I was living with. And I was like starting to build somewhat of a friendship with one of them, but she turned out to kind of be like two-faced in a way where she would just use whatever I was telling her and go to talk to Missy about, because Missy kind of like favored the other girl. I won't like say her name because I do have that little much of decency, but and it was just like mind games all over the place. And this girl was like, Missy was talking about adopting this girl into her family, even though she lived there, and like she had such a strong relationship with this girl. And I was like, this is crazy. At one point I looked at it and I was like, this is just not okay. This is just not okay. And it got to a point where anything that I would do was wrong. Because her son ended up like coming around into the Bethesda house. Like she would have all of her family come in and they would all be kind of like a part of it. And I ended up talking to one of her sons and kind of like getting into like a relationship type thing. And that wasn't allowed. She told me no, not to do it. Like she found out and it was like, no, don't do it. Don't talk to him. And I didn't. And then the reason why I got kicked out was because her son ended up texting me. And then because she figured that out, that was enough for her to just kick me out. Even though like I didn't even have to respond or anything, because he texted me and there was some form of messaging going on. I got kicked out because of that. And I was like, okay. And she told me that I have a certain amount of time to pack my stuff to go. And I was like, all right. I'm sitting there. I was like, I don't really have anywhere to go right now. Like, I mean, like I can always come back to my house, but like I didn't really want to, because it was like the place that was kind of holding me back at the time. I didn't want to go back to that. And like she ended up just giving me all of the money that like she was saving up for me the entire time I was there. I was there for maybe like 3.5 months, if that. It wasn't too long. And the entire time, like I would be calling my mom while I was there, going on walks, because like they would always were listening in the house too. Like I swear the house was bugged. Like they were always listening somehow. And like the only time I would really be able to have a conversation is when I would like go for a walk and I would talk on my phone with my mom. I'm like, this place is horrible. I'm like, when they won't let you do anything. Like you can't live there if you don't go to church, regardless of whatever your religion was beforehand. Like that's a complete, like, I don't know. That's just like not okay. And then like, especially with the whole situation that happened with Kylie, the fact that like I knew Missy and now this is what it's turning into, this whole situation, Kylie's life, that all of that could have been prevented. It really could have, if Missy had just not been like so stuck up. And I don't even know how to explain her. I don't want to belittle her because that's just not who I am, but she's just got to figure her stuff out, because I don't think that things are working out in her favor.
Let me ask you a question. I have received some testimony from another woman who was there, and I've also read about another woman who talked about a very real pressure to adopt out their child prior to giving birth, and then also someone after who adopted their child out at a year old. And there was videos that were being shown and a consistent theme of, you know, them not being able to take care of their children and the pressure to adopt. Did you see that, or did you feel any of that personally?
Yeah, that was definitely put on my plate while I was there. She was trying to persuade me to adopt Avalon out at one point, and it got to a point where she would have me watch like the videos and everything like that. and I would never, like, it literally made me sick to my stomach to even think about it. Like, I could never. She's trying to like climb on me right now as I speak.
I'm not. I'm just trying to give you a hug.
Okay. Okay, Abby, go sit down, honey. Okay, go sit down. I know. All right.
Oh, we can shut your camera off and you can do a hug.
She's okay. She's okay. But yeah, there was definitely a lot of persuasion to try and get me to adopt Outlawn out, to make it seem like I wasn't a good fit for her and I couldn't really take care of her in the ways that like anybody else could. And I'm like, just because I'm young doesn't mean I'm incapable. And that was like that's literally the entire theme of my life. Like, I don't know, to this day, that's still a point that I continue to try to prove to everyone, including myself, because life isn't easy no matter what the cards are dealt, but you just got to do what you can with it. And Missy definitely put so much weight on everybody's chest when it came to like adoption. And I remember that one of the girls that was living there was actually like in contact with the girl that adopted her daughter out, and she was always talking a lot of smack about her, not saying really kind things about her. And there is at one point where this girl also was getting into, I don't even know what you would call it, like a situationship with one of Missy's sons too. And that was never brought to Missy's attention. But it's funny because I still have because this girl would want me to take pictures of the texts that they would have between each other. And it's funny because I never deleted them. So I still have like texts that went back and forth from said girl and Missy's son. But when I was talking to Missy's son, I got kicked out. I'm like, that's interesting.
Let's go back a little bit first because I'm curious about this. How did you find out about Bethesda House, and how did who pointed you in the direction of going there?
Honestly, the day that I found out about it, me and my mom had gotten into a big fight and she stormed off and I was like, screw it. I was just I always walked. I would walk everywhere. Like, when I'm mad, I'd walk. That was just my thing. So I would take my kid and I put her in the stroller and I went for a walk. And then I was like, you know what, screw it. I went down to the police station, walked to the police station. I'm like, do you guys have any like flyers or resources for like any shelters? And the only flyer that was there was one for the Bethesda House. So that's kind of how I found out about them. And I gave them a call, and it didn't even take me a week before I got moved in there. And then within 2 weeks, I started like figuring my crap out. And she tried to use me as like a good face in that place because I just, regardless, like no matter where I was, I wanted to just get my crap together. Like, I'm like, I want to graduate high school. There's things I need to do. Like, so she just kind of used that to her advantage to make herself look better in a way too. She was trying to kind of like share my story at one point, and I'm like, that's none of your business. Like, it turned into a situation, and I ended up like getting close with the family too in a way. And they invited me over their house for like Thanksgiving dinner one night, and it was okay, but it was interesting because then I really got to see like the ins and the outs of how they work. And it's funny like how they fake their funk, because their son that I used to be in like a relationship with hit me up recently, and I went and looked on his social media page and he doesn't look healthy. That's like the nicest way I can describe that. Like, so, and I'm like, that's kind of, I don't know. I think she's dealing with a lot of trouble in her own family too right now. But like, and then Colby hitting me up was like, wow. Now that I have that, and he was just like the way that he was trying to text me and talk to me, and like he wanted me to like forgive him for things, and he was like the way that he was talking, it was very strange. And I'm like, I wasn't interested. I'm like, no, like I don't want to talk to you. Like, I'm good. I made that very clear.
But
I think it's what's eye-opening about a lot of the women that I'm talking to is that everybody was going through obviously a difficult time in life. Many of the women are young moms who are, dealing with extraordinary circumstances. A lot of them are having conflict at home with parents and no support.
Mhm.
And they've all left and moved on and are thriving and doing well. But
right.
talking about their time at Bethesda House is not a good thing. It brings back a lot of bad memories. And they're in this kind of, and I'm feeling you're in the same way too, that some good things came out of it and thankful for the place. And it feels weird to not be 100% in support of this home. And you're in this weird position where some really not good things happened there. Lines have been crossed and some weird leadership and strict rules and things make it so that it's not really a good memory for you. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, honestly, I would kind of say that. There was a time where she kind of like would we have the one-on-ones in her office, and she would just try and get us to talk about like what's going on in our lives and stuff like that, like what we're doing, what we're trying to do, XYZ. And like I've always been pretty closed off when it comes to just like, I don't know, talking about like my stuff, my family and everything. It's like it's nobody's business, where everybody's got their problems. Like why, like just leave it alone. And then it came to a point where she was trying to get me to call DCF on my mom because of I don't even really know the exact reasoning what it was. And she put it in a way where she said that if I didn't call them and make a report that she was going to. And I was like, okay, whatever. If anything's going to be done, like I'll be the one to do it. Like whatever. And I called them and made like a report, but I didn't even really know what to say. Because I'm like, yeah, my family has their issues, but like I don't know. There's something going on there, I guess. And they didn't even really look into it like that anyway. The case was nothing. So and I'm like, did she just cause more problems between me and my family doing that more than anything else? And it just created more conflict, and that was just unnecessary. And then she just was like, yeah, now you can just go back there. And I'm like, that's interesting. And interesting how that plays out for Kylie too, because you're just going to send her to the exact same place that she left from domestic violence. And now look at where she is. And that is on their hands, in my like 110% opinion. That is definitely on their hands. That could have all been prevented.
With respect to Kylie's family and the circumstance surrounding her death, it seems to me that many of the women who are in this group on Facebook that have been talking about this for years are now speaking up a little bit more in light of what had just happened to her. So, in your opinion, you're feeling as if this home contributed in some way to her death?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It could have 110% been avoided.
What do you, is this the first time you've ever spoken about your experience at Bethesda House?
It is, in a way, yes. My mother tried speaking on my behalf on the support group page on Facebook. But I've just been pretty quiet about it just because it's like, I don't know. I haven't really had much of a reason to talk about it up until now, where it's like, now it's getting to the point where we're sending people back to the abusers that are now killing the woman. So that's like on their hands, and they need to hold themselves accountable, honestly. Like that's not okay.
We have some other moms that are in here, so I'm going to end with you and bring them on. But how are you doing now? It seems like you're doing well.
I actually am doing really well. She kicked me out, but I still graduated high school. And after I graduated, within 2 months, I went off to basic training for the Army, the National Guard. And I have been pursuing that. I took a year ING, which is like inactive guard. And and I'm re-enlisting in October. And I have also just gotten my EMT certification, and I'm about to get my licensure for that as well. So I'll be able to get an EMT job, and I'm going to work my way up through the medical field. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good right now. Life is okay.
How's your daughter?
She's fantastic. She is so fantastic. That one, she is hilarious. She's super, super smart, like way too smart for her own good. She'll call anybody out. She's 5 years old and knows more than I do, I swear. I'm like, oh my gosh, you sound like a wise old lady.
I'm seeing some comments from some of the people that are watching, but I mean, they're thinking exactly what I'm thinking, which is I think you're really unbelievably strong, and what you've gone through. I think coming here and being able to tell your story, to highlight your experience there, I think is a real important part of making change. And I'm a little overwhelmed with what you're saying about yourself and how you're doing, and I'm just really proud of you. So I wanted to say thanks for coming on and sharing this, and keep in touch, and let us know how you're doing. But I know that my listeners here are really invested in your story already in just a short amount of time. And I think it's just really selfless that you shared it. So thank you.
Of course. I'm glad that I could share, and it actually go to something good, because Kylie matters, her family matters, and the situation is not going to go down easy, especially for the Porters, because God will provide, and God works in mysterious ways, shall they say, right? Well, thou shalt reap what they sow.
Lily, thanks so much for telling your story to us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Can we take Lily off? Thanks. I need a second. Right? I'm like losing it because like I know. I have two girls, and I just can't imagine like them being alone, and then that like gross. All right. Hold on. Hold on. It's not fake, by the way. It's legit. I'm overwhelmed. It's just a thing here. I knew. I read these stories. I was feeling a certain way, but same. I don't know. So we have two ladies here. Let's bring one in at a time so they have their own space. Let's just bring. Just put Darian, because I saw that they tried to get in. Okay. I think they can hear us in backstage. They can hear what we're saying. So let's start with, is it Darian?
Hi.
Hi.
Yes.
How are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
Good.
So,
if you can try to do me a favor, Darian, can you get your phone a little closer, because it's hard to hear you?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
It's tight to hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I was one of the first moms to to go to the house 8 years ago. When I went to the house, I was about 20 weeks pregnant with my daughter. How I got to the house, it was, I think, just like a word of mouth. It was, an open shelter, brand new, and at the time I needed a change for my daughter and I was like, I made the best of it. When I met Missy at that Duxbury church, I had to take a drug test immediately, which I passed. And then she showed me my room. It was just me and another girl there at that time. So it was just two of us. And then we had, another girl. when we started getting, I started getting my benefits, it was told to me that I was only allowed to keep, it was $50 a month. And the rest of the money was going to be, towards the rent and obviously savings. But we were pressured. I was definitely pressured to put money for the church, money for God, put money for the church. Like, that's what you do, like, to support. Like, and there was another girl in the house who was doing that. So she almost became the favorite. Now we got assigned mentors. At the time, my children's father was incarcerated, and she assigned me a mentor who, I mean, what a coincidence, her son was incarcerated. So I think she thought it was a good fit, which, I mean, and we clicked it off. She was really nice to me. But, just having that common, that's something that I don't want to have in common with somebody. Like, that's something that's, it's near and dear. So I did that. Towards when the house got full, it started becoming, she was making rules as she was going, because she didn't really know, like, everything was brand new. So as the house was full, we were only allowed to watch TV. Got shut off at 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, the TV just shut off. We weren't allowed, you had to listen to Christian music. It had to be Christian, like, basically stuff that got approved for her on TV. We couldn't watch, like, no trash reality TV, which, whatever, we all had our phones. We were limited. Cigarettes, you were only allowed to smoke 3 cigarettes, and it couldn't be on the property. I remember they got a camera system, but at the time it wasn't inside the house. I was at the first house. It was outside the house. And I swear they would listen to our conversations. The one-on-one times were very too personal. She was really trying to get, like, about, our struggles and, like, trauma that we faced. And I think it worked for her advantage, because that's where she knew where she could kind of, like, okay, well, I know what I can do. Now, in my case, I got kicked out. I had a high-risk pregnancy. I did not receive it was prenatal care while I was there. She did not bring me to South Shore Hospital. I never seen a doctor. I've only seen never seen a doctor. Anytime I had Braxton Hicks, or I had, like, an ear infection and headache, it was just like, lay down, just, let God take care of it. I mean, at the time I was at the house, I was pregnant with my second child, so my circumstance was a little different. And my child before that came 9 days early, so I'd never seen a doctor, which to me was kind of bizarre. I've seen an MA a couple times, but that's basically it. So it was kind of like, at that point, I'm just praying, like, me and my daughter, we're going to be okay. I got this. I mean, I'm taking my prenatals, but never seen a doctor. My grandfather passed away while I was at the house. And at that time, I was part of the wake and the funeral. I asked Missy, when you doing overnights where you're allowed one overnight a month, and it had to be on a Friday night, and you had to be back the following day at 5 p.m. So I told her, I understand the rules, but if you can do an exception, because I have a death in the family and I'm part of the wake and the funeral. I did my paper. My family's from Taunton, so I, got picked up by my mom, and I went to Taunton, and I was part of the wake and the funeral. Now, I never told them where the wake was or where the funeral was. 3 volunteers showed up at the wake. Now, like, I never said anything, but so to me at the time, I was just thinking, they're here just support. I'm just going to take it with a grain of salt. Come to find out, they were like little spies to kind of see, to make sure that I was there, which obviously I'm there, I'm part of the lineup. So I thought that was kind of strange. Now, later that night, I got a text from Missy saying that she does not know my whereabouts. And I was totally confused, because I said where I was going to be, X, Y, and Z. Like, there was no secrets, never has been any secrets. I was very transparent with her, and had the obituary, everything. So I was very confused. Now, prior to that, I go back to the house, and everything's just, you could feel the tension in the house. She pulls me into the basement, And she basically says that, she does not like, my attitude. She does not like the way that that I'm treating another girl, which to me was kind of bizarre. Like just didn't seem right to me. And she said, well, I think your mother will take you in. At the time, she knew that my mom had a 1-bedroom apartment. I'm like, Missy, like, I have nowhere to go. Like, I'm 38 weeks pregnant. Like, I don't have anywhere to go. Like, my mom has a 1-bedroom apartment, like, and is on housing. Like, she can't, like, this is why I'm here. So obviously I'm at the time, I'm, pregnant, scared. Now I'm even more homeless. Like, what am I going to do? And she's like, well, you're just not fit for being in this house. And I'm like, wait a second, like, this doesn't make sense to me at all. Like, I just came from a wake and a funeral. Like, here's my proof. So I said, weeks prior, you just put on a baby shower for me, because they put on a baby shower for me at her church, which I was not allowed to invite any of my friends or family. I could only invite my mom, and that was it. It was her way or her rule. So I started to cry because I really had nowhere to go. Like, at the time, my children's father, he's locked up. My mom has a one, she can't take me in. Like, my older son's open adoption. Like, I'm in this like system. I'm trying to do right with me and my daughter. So she was like, I said, can I do a grievance? Cause I was like, there has to be some type of loophole. And because this is not right. So she said that there's no grieving process. There's nothing that I could do. So I wrote up my own grievance. And before I left, I gave it to her, and we packed up all of my stuff. We packed up in her van, and she drove me to a church, and she dropped me off on the side of the road, and she left. She did not wait to see if I got picked up, did not wait to see if I was still there, nothing. And after that date, there was no communication. So at all. My mom was so upset because she seen her pregnant daughter like on the side of the road at a church, and decided to reach out to the pastor of Missy's church. He blocked my mom. My mom also reached out to Missy, and she blocked her. There was nothing that like we could do, because my mom's like, my daughter is like on the side of the road. Like my mom, she took a picture of me, like with all my stuff. Just, here I am. And it was just unbelievable. And at that time, I'm telling my mom, like, listen, I'm in a cult. Like, this is a cult. And 8 years ago, no one really believes you, because it's like, no, it sounds far-fetched. And I'm telling my mom, like, no, this lady, she's literally telling us what to wear, how to dress. We had to dress very modest. I mean, obviously I'm a lady, I'm going to dress modest, but it had to be what she wanted us to wear. Had to go to church, had to do everything that she wanted us to do. Had to wear a bra. And, not for nothing, when, you're pregnant or you are breastfeeding, whatever, your breasts to get large, they lot on your back. So it's like, it was almost like control, all the time control. When volunteers came, we had to cook for them. There was a menu that got approved or denied by her, because we had to cook for the volunteers as well as ourselves, which I thought that was kind of strange. All of our food stamps went inside the house. So we weren't allowed to use our food stamp card on anything that, like, if we had any special craving or anything, we weren't allowed to do that. All our food stamps went inside that house. She knew when our food stamps came, there was someone who brought us to the grocery store, and they saved our receipt. Everything was down to the receipt, the paper. So there was no way that you could save $10 or you could have $1 to yourself. She knew what you were buying and when you was buying it. It's so bad, because it's like, being one of the first girls at the house, and everything happened in 8 years ago, because my daughter is now 8. It's so crazy how, wow, something drastic happened, and now everything's coming to light. And I'm so glad that it's coming to light. Like, I felt, it's horrible that what happened, because, I'm a victim of domestic violence. And I'm glad that this house is definitely, bringing like, to light, because this wasn't fair. And when I was saying it 8 years ago, I was, no one believed me. And I just kind of, I brushed it off, because it's like, at the end of the day, it's I'm one person. And now that there's many moms and many other, people that were in my situation 5 years ago, 6 years ago, or even most recently, it's like, wow, I knew I wasn't crazy or wasn't delusional. I knew she wasn't treating me right. I knew I was in a cult place. Like you just know, you have that intuition. Now, I gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. A couple days later, I went to the local hospital and I had it was preeclampsia, severe preeclampsia. I had emergency C-section, and I had 2 blood transfusions, and I was rehospitalized because the blood pressure wasn't regulating because I wasn't getting it was prenatal care when I was pregnant. It's crazy to me that, 8 years ago, walking into the house, I mean, I thought I was going to be there for 2 years. I thought, like what she said, like, I was excited. I was ready to do, what was needed of me. And then I felt like when I started questioning and just asking questions, and I just knew something wasn't right. And it was a lot of control. It's all about money. She knew when your money was coming. She had an envelope, and you could not. She knew it was a lot of control, and a lot of like the volunteers. There were some really good volunteers, and there were some volunteers that were there to just report back to her, and that's what it was. When they came at nighttime and they got served their food, and let's say you're having a conversation and you're telling them, something is dear near to you, they're gonna go tell Missy. So it's like there was no type of like secret. There was no type of secrets. There was no type of feeling comfortable with somebody because you knew they were always gonna report back to her. So it was just very not a good environment, not a healthy environment, not an environment that I would ever want to go back to. And I'm just so glad that that now there's more moms than just myself that screaming like what I've been saying 8 years ago. And I hope that this house does get shut down because it's not right of what these Missy's doing and her husband. It's not right at all.
First of all, I really can't believe that your story, as horrible as it is so similar to the other women that I'm meeting and speaking to. So many of the same themes in regards to the controlling, the lack of prenatal care, but also the manipulation, the making you feel a certain way. I mean, I'm overwhelmed and shocked, honestly, hearing your stories. It's very difficult to hear some of these things. You're coming off as being so far removed from that and so strong, so well spoken about this, even though it's such a traumatic situation. I know a lot of people are probably wondering, it seems like we know the answer. How are you doing now? You seem to be doing great.
Yeah, so I'm good. So my daughter that I had there, she's 8. And I had it was 3 more. And it was 3 more kids. Yeah, so I'm doing good. I had 3 more kids. I have 3 under 3. So I'm busy.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just, I mean, my mom was the one that told me about the Facebook group. She was the one that was like, Darian, you have a story to tell. Like you were one of the first ones there. Like you were there for all the changes, and it got worse. I guess after I left, and then a lot of stuff started happening. It was an experience in my life that I knew I wasn't a cult, and I just now I like, when it's like you say to yourself, like, why am I in this environment? I know I'm in this environment, but no one else is believing you. So it's like you're questioning what you're saying. So it's like, no, all those years, I really was in an environment that wasn't right for me, healthy, and that was cult like. And I'm glad that, we're speaking up. I mean, my stories happened 8 years ago. That was some times, but I think I just seen on their Facebook page that they're having a happy birthday to Bethesda House, that they turned 8. And I'm like, my daughter's 8. Like, so it's just crazy to think that, it just kept going.
I was just going to ask a question because it's not something I've learned through these conversations. How did you find out about Bethesda House?
So, I want to say one of my mom's friends was involved in in a church, and I had called. It was the DTA's office to try to get into shelter. One second. Hey, you're gonna go in this way. Okay. I had called. It was the DTA.
Oh no.
Can you tell Emily?
We lost her. But I think she was momming so hard that we lost her in the chat. Is she back? Can we re-add her?
Hi. So
Hi.
I called the DTA's office to try to get into shelter. But at the time, you could only go into shelter. You had to be so many days of your pregnancy, and I really had nowhere to go. And I saw the phone number, and I was like the first person to call. So one of my mom's friends seen a flyer, and I called the number, and I met her that same day, and I slept there that same night. I do see flyers, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I take them down. I'm from Taunton, and there's a place where you can get like diapers and wipes at birthright, and I seen a flyer, and I took it down because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna help out the next mom who sees that flyer like I did, and I'm gonna take that down because that is not right. And so anytime I see those flyers, I take them down.
Darian, I mean, the women and men who are in our chat listening to your story have just unbelievably wonderful things to say about you, how inspiring you are, and that you're speaking up after your experience. I think this is unexpected for us to hear this after the death of Kylie, but I think it's such a really poignant part of the story to hear from the people who shared the same experience. And I think that, you know, by speaking up, you're going to make change. I think
Yes.
more people will hear this story and change will happen.
Yes. So this is my 8-year-old that I that I was pregnant with when I was
Hi.
at the house. Say hi. Yeah, so we're at the park. But no, I appreciate this time. And you know, I hope that, you know, it does bring awareness, and that you know, the house does, you know, get, you know, shut down, or the state does look. I know the state does not fund it because it's off of nonprofit. But I mean, she even had me going to church and making speeches about how good the house was. But it's like you're brainwashed, and you have to do it because you're living there and you have nowhere else to go. Yes.
We have another mom that's here that wants to tell her story.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for your time. I think we're all going to reconnect and talk again when we can sit down and maybe have a deeper conversation about this.
Yes.
But I think what you're doing is extraordinary. Speaking about this, sharing your story. You're momming so hard right now with your babies. I know I'm a little overwhelmed and emotional, but a lot of the women who are watching are as well. You're doing great, Mama.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Um, uh, I'm overwhelmed again. I'm not reading the chat because it's going by, but I'm overwhelmed. Taking the flyers when she sees them is like next level. I'm obsessed. I'm blown away by these women. They're so brave sharing their stories. They really, really are. I get why Nurse Porter didn't want to return my calls. I get it. She knew what everybody was going to be talking about. We have another mom let's bring another mom in.
Hi, how are you?
Andrea, hi, how are you?
I'm good. So I myself haven't stayed at the shelter. I do want to put that out there. My
Okay.
best friend Emily, who made the post in All Things Plymouth, she and I have been best friends since middle school. She was sharing her experiences with me, you know, as she was going through it, like, you know, real time.
Right.
The way I found out about Bethesda House before Emily even had gone there was I had a domestic incident with my son's father. I was a teen mother. So, you know, social services investigates, and they actually recommended the Bethesda House to me for me and my son. I denied because I had my mother's house. You know, there was no need to do that. And I went about my day. But every social worker I've met on the South Shore boasts about this shelter. And all I have heard from the victims and the women are horror stories. So when Emily and I started talking, more and more girls started coming out with these stories, and I wanted to give them a platform to speak. I am not associated with this shelter or anything. I am that outsider that can give them that voice. Speak through me. I'll post it. It can be under my name. You know, like none of it will come back on you, but people need to hear your story. So back in 2021, when we first originally made the group, I went full throttle with Emily and a bunch of the other victims of the house. And we were in the comment sections with John Porter, with a bunch of like Missy's little spies. And I realized just how insane it really is. And I saw a comment as Darian was speaking about someone referring to it as Scientology. And I don't know if you've seen those videos on TikTok of the people who they walk up to the Scientology doors and they close it and shut it down.
I
I
have,
went
yeah.
to the Bethesda boutique after I called John Porter out, after I called Missy out, because why are you kicking a young mother with a newborn out in a snowstorm? Why are you kicking any young mother with child out with no safe place to go? How are
Right.
you going to drop someone off on the side of the road? So I went to the Kingston Mall where it was, and I walked right up to the doors. And what they do, they shut me out, just like they do with the Scientology building when people try to tell people, like, hey, do not go there. Do not trust this religion. She shut me out and basically was like, we don't want anything to do with this. And I was just going to look. I wasn't going for any other reason than to look. And then in the comment sections, everybody victim blaming Kylie. Kylie, yes, was murdered by her boyfriend, but she would have never lost her life. That baby would have never lost his life if they didn't kick her out for seeking medical care. Because I personally believe medical care trumps religion any day. And you don't force religion. It's a shelter to keep young moms safe, you know, and they're abusing them. They're taking advantage of them. They're like, ugh, these women, I'm sorry, I'm very frantic and I'm just trying to like say all my words, but I have so much to say for these women. But with Emily and Hannah and Mike Oxley and everybody on TikTok blowing it up and being like, hey, this shelter, like something's not right. You know, all those years ago, 5 years ago, nobody listened to us. John Porter was like, we're this nice Christian family. We take care of these young women. Like these women are selfish for thinking this way. And that's not the case at all. And now they can't hide. So what are they going to do except stay silent, you know, because how are you
Well, I
going to
think
counteract this?
I think that's part of the issue I'm dealing with here is, you know, uh, they're active in trying to silence. I saw the husband in the chats, and it's a very condescending kind of like
Yeah,
gaslighting vibe that he's giving
exactly.
out. They don't want to respond to any of my calls or questions. They even messaged
Emily, yeah.
Emily, right,
Mhm.
in real time, like this week,
Yep.
yesterday, trying to control the narrative. And I think there's a stigma associated with, okay, there are women that need help. There
Yep.
aren't many places that are going to give it. You can't, quote unquote, bite the hand that feeds you. You know, there is a religious portion that is on their website that says is a part of what they do.
Mm.
But I think the problem here is it's the most vulnerable people that are experiencing it. They don't feel like they can say anything at the time. And then the rest of us are looking at it and going, okay, is it really right to say anything about this? They are helping. But if you listen to
Exactly.
these stories, there is
See,
a thread
that's
woven through here that is just, it's unmistakable and
yeah.
undeniable what's going
See,
on.
through this whole process, I myself, and I'm advocating for these girls, for Kylie, through and through. Like, I'm in these comment sections, my brain has been scrambled. Like, I am
Right.
just going. And I've
Right.
seen a lot of Missy spies, we call them, which are just like former volunteers or their friends that are in the comments, victim blaming Kylie Montero, basically saying it's her own fault. A lady named Janet said that it was Kylie's own fault for making the decision to return to her abuser's home. It is textbook DV that in it, like a relationship, they always go back. Like every time. Like they will leave, they will seek help, but they will always go back. That shelter was meant to keep her and that baby safe. John Porter, in his comment section, the only thing he said to me was her 11-day DV stay. So you knew she was in the shelter because she was in a domestic violence relationship at the age of 18, pregnant, and decided to pay for her ride to her death because she missed Bible study. Bible study. That's
Well,
insane.
I think there's been some speculation about the circumstances on what
Mhm.
got her there. So I can't confirm that that's what
Yeah.
happened. It sounds to me like you have a little bit more information than most of us.
From what I am hearing from, you know, the girls and everything, is absolutely insane. When it came to Kylie Montero, Emily messaged me and was like, you won't believe it. The girl got kicked out of Bethesda. And this is what we were advocating for 5 years ago. Like, why did it take a murder for everybody to finally pay attention to us? I was trying to say, hey, they can't just be kicking girls off on the side of the road. Like, something's going to happen. They're going to die. They're going to go back, you know? And sure enough, that happened. You know, like how many more girls does this have to happen to before change happens? Because I'm so sick and tired of hearing about these young
Well,
moms and children being murdered or, you know, going missing.
well, I mean, listen, it's I mean, I've spoken to 2 women who had the same, and now we're hearing from a third with Lily about getting dropped off. I'm not Lily, Darian, about just getting dropped off in
Yep.
parking lots and driving away. Sometimes, you know, being told good luck, and literally leaving a woman with a child in a parking lot. These are just behaviors that don't sound like someone who cares about,
Not
you
very
know,
Christian of them. It's not
well,
very
I mean,
Christian of them to
yeah,
just
I mean, take the
drop
religion
them
part
off.
out of it. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
safety or security situation involved
Mhm.
there where, so it's not just one, there are many. And I
Mhm.
love that you started this group. You know, and I went back as far as I could.
Yeah,
It's
it's not
sad.
too
What's
bad.
sad to me, Andrea, is that you guys have been talking this for a long time and nobody knew,
For
and
5
nobody,
years.
yeah, no eyes on it. I see some of these posts from
We went
2021 and I can't believe
Yep.
it.
We went full throttle. We were posting in all the groups around the South Shore, just trying to raise awareness. Same thing with Darian. If I see it, I grab it. No, you know, I will never
That is
recommend it. I
amazing.
tell every young mother, do not go there. You know, and when it comes down to it, they've gotten away with it for so long, but this is trauma that these girls have to live with the rest of their life. You know, it's trauma they still haven't gotten over. And it's been 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 8 years, like Darian, you know? And just hearing all their stories, it kills me because nobody listened to these girls. And now Kylie has opened that door for these girls to share their story and say, hey, no, like this could have been any one of us, you know? And let's make sure it does not happen again.
I think what you're doing is amazing work, giving people this platform. And I think your energy is kind of like making it so that these women feel like it's a safe place for them to go in and talk about
I'm
it.
trying. I'm very frantic. I'm very anxious about it, you know, but I know that I just want to get the word out there as much as I can. And I am so thankful that you picked up this story and you gave these girls this platform. I have made amazing friends that I've met just through the support group that have become, you know, lifelong friends that I'm going to cherish forever. And Emily and Hannah, they are extremely strong. And I am so thankful that we are here today and we are getting their stories out there. And I want Missy and John we need answers. I need an answer because this is
Well,
insane.
I think with everything that you guys have done, I think we're going to continue to get eyes on this story. I know just from sitting here today, these conversations, it would be unbelievable if mainstream media didn't pick up on the story. And I
Yeah.
hope you guys are prepared to tell your story to a larger audience,
So I
because I
do
think that'll
know,
come.
yeah, I do know that there are other stories that we have put away because there are women who are still so scared to come forward because they're afraid of the repercussion. So when they are ready to share it, we, you know, me, Emily, Hannah, we're there for them. But I do know that there are going to be more stories. There's more women. We got 104 women to go through. I mean, and it's only a handful of them that I can tell you have told me they've had an amazing time. And no, not even a handful. It was one. It was
Right.
literally one.
Right.
So, I mean, I hope they get investigated. I hope everybody starts looking into this because it's all documented. The girls have pictures. Emily fainted and didn't get medical care. You know, like it's insane. And it's just, I don't know. I'm sorry. I know I'm rambling. I'm terrible at
I
talking and
think this
being
is
on
a really
live,
great
but
start. Not at all.
yes.
No, you're doing great. You've got really great energy. And I think it's actually very like comforting for me to know that there's somebody kind of at the helm of this between you and Emily, really kind of in charge and keeping track and documenting. And I think that's a really important part of this. And it certainly gives some credibility to, I don't need any credibility. These women being vulnerable enough to tell their stories and share and speak is enough for me.
Exactly.
There's a theme here. It's very
And that's what
obvious.
I was
And
trying to do. And that's why when I came to Emily, you know, she was scared to come forward at one point, and I told her, hey, they don't know who I am. You know, like I will do it. I will make the account. I'll make you an admin. And, you know, like anybody who has a story will do it. I'll post it. You
great.
want, you know, like you want to say something to John? I do not care. I will message him. And I have, you know, like even 5 years ago, he was posting pictures of Emily's daughter to promote the Bethesda House. And we were like, absolutely not. Like after everything you did and you're going to use her child to promote your cult of a program? No. And and then it's the gaslighting, the victim blaming, and I couldn't believe it. And you guys can see for yourself in his comment on All Things Plymouth, and I know I've posted it everywhere because I was baffled, where he just completely blames Emily and calls her a liar. Are all these
Well, no,
moms
he talked
lying?
about how, she was, she called her a mom and she gave her a Mother's Day card.
Which has
And
never happened. It's insane. That's never
even if it
happened.
did, it's gaslighting 101. I mean, it's zero accountability. And
Yeah, or it's Stockholm syndrome, where she's been
Yeah.
broken down so much and abused, and she, Emily, it's her story to tell. But a mother figure in her life, like, that is a very hard topic for her. So the fact that he said that, it like sent, like, I don't, I was so beside myself mad. And he could say, like, oh, I'm praying for Kylie. Like, no, because the only reason Kylie's gone is because you guys put her there.
Well,
like that
they've
voicemail. She
they've
had
got
nowhere
eyes
to
on
go.
them because of that. And I think what we're seeing is some defensive moves from them. And then on top of it, you've got a group of women who are very strong and
Yes.
are coming forward and telling their stories. And I think I'm not thinking about them, to be quite honest with you. Let them scramble and let them try to figure out what they're doing on their own. I think my part here is to share your stories and make sure everybody hears what you guys have to say. So I think you're doing a fantastic job. And I
Thank
hope this
you.
isn't the last time we talk. Let's connect
No,
again
definitely
offline.
not. I was gonna sit this one out because I wanted to give the girls the voice. I'm not a victim of the Bethesda House. I wanted this to just be a platform for the girls. But I don't think Emily couldn't make it because she has her gender reveal today. So I did want to pop on, and I do want to say that any girl who has suffered anything, seen anything horrific from that house, join our support group, share your story, message Emily, Hannah, or I, and we will get your story out there. This is something that I know there's more, and that we're here for them.
What's the name of your Facebook group so that they can find you, Andrea?
It's the Bethesda support group. I'm sorry, my neighbor just pulled in and he's blasting music. It's the Bethesda support group. Our cover photo is Kylie Montero. And it's just a place for all the girls to go and share their stories and find Emily and I and see the videos, and for people to go and see what really goes on at this cult. I'm not even going to call it a shelter anymore at this point. It's a cult.
Well, I think everybody who's been there and the people who are helping these women have earned the right to call it whatever they want at this point. Erin is looking for the group and she's going to post it in the comment section so people can find.
Okay.
Yes, Hannah and the other two admins. Yep, we found it. So we're going to post it. Andrea, thank you for coming on, and thanks for everything you're doing, by the way.
No, thank you so much, because without you, nobody would have listened to us.
Well,
Nobody
they're
took the time.
going
And
to
now
listen
they
now.
are. They are. Thank you so much for everything you've done.
You're welcome. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
I need a second. Yes. Yes. I don't know if that's the same Emily, but I did send that Emily a message. So we don't have anybody else backstage right now. Okay, let's take it to the besties. What's everybody saying?
They're saying a lot.
Let's read some comments. Let me read some Hold on. I'm going to mute. Erin has to tell me something. Stand by. Comments and things. So for those of you who may be joining late and who maybe missed all of the I'm unmuted. Okay. The reason we're talking to women who participated in the women's shelter known as Bethesda House is because Kylie Montero, the pregnant mom who was murdered by her boyfriend, was actually a participant of. Oh, Emily is here. This is yeah. Let's grab Emily. Bethesda House is where Kylie Montero was staying. And from what we're hearing from women who have been a part of this group through the channels that they're a part of, that she was there. They paid for her Uber or her rideshare service that sent her to Gregory Groom's house, where she was ultimately murdered. So I think we have Emily on, and I think she's looking to talk and share her story as well. Erin's going to bring her on in a second. Hi, Emily. I can, yes.
So I'm like extremely been running around all day. I have my kids in my car. Just back up. You're not getting in.
Listen, whatever you need to do, whatever the momming you're doing, whatever the kids, I'm a mama. I get it. So do whatever you need to do. I'm happy you're here, at least.
Thank you. All right. So I was there in 2019 to 2020. I just remember going there because my godmother recommended it to me. I was pregnant, had nowhere to go. And I just remember reaching out to Missy, and I lived out of state at the time, so she got me to buy a plane ticket to fly all the way to Massachusetts to stay with her in the shelter. So I was, by the time I stayed there, I didn't feel like I could leave because I was from South Carolina in Massachusetts. I was enduring this for 18 months. I lived there. It felt like a cult. I was forced to Bible studies, which I understand that they told us that we were going to have Bible study, but it was basically like shoved down your throat. Like, you had to believe this. You had to do homework on them. It was just a lot. We would have one-on-ones, and Missy would just tell me, because I have severe depression, that I can't handle having a daughter and I need to give her up for adoption. It was just really pressed on me. I'm sorry, I'm like shaking right now because I'm just thinking about it.
Emily, take a second, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. I can tell you're overwhelmed. It's okay. And I'm not really equipped.
Very emotional. I'm really emotional because I just see so many other girls that went through what I went through. You just feel like belittled the whole time you're there.
All right, let's take a deep breath for a second. Do you want to keep doing this right now? Do you want to keep talking? Do you want to come back?
I feel like I'm okay. I just need to.
All right, so let me ask you. First of all, let me tell you, I know you can't see it, but there are a lot of people here who are listening to you and supporting you. They're telling you you're amazing. They're asking you to take your time, that this is so sad, but they're listening to you and they just want you to it's okay. I've never done anything like this before, but I've got to tell you, Emily, I can't tell you how important it is for you to speak and to share your story, especially at a time right now where there are a lot of eyes on this, and it's going to make a difference and it's going to make change. So take a sec and just say whatever you want, however you want to say it. This is just us here and 2,000, 3,000 people, Emily, no big deal. So, oh no, I lost her for a sec. Maybe it's just the camera. I don't know if your camera is on or off, but we're going to give you a sec. We're going to give her a second. I know she's going to jump back in. Okay. Okay, she's back. Okay, babe.
I'm so sorry.
No. Do not say another sorry again for the rest of this conversation. Go ahead. Okay. The floor is yours. Say what you want to say.
So Missy would get into your very deep personal background, like on one-on-ones, and she knew, like, my mom had passed away when I was a teenager. So she tried to instill that she was like a mother figure for me. So it kind of made me care for her in a way. It was very hard to do this because I did care for her even after I left, even though she put me through hell. Just because of the gaslighting and the manipulation, and she even posted or texted me saying that I called her mom, which I never did that. That's just a very sensitive topic for me. That I gave her. I don't recall giving her any Mother's Day card. It's just, the whole thing was just really manipulative. She called DSS on me when I was leaving, because after the 18 months of enduring all that, I finally broke down, had to go to a hospital because I was having a severe anxiety attack. And DSS called me and said that she had reported that I was having anxiety, I'm depressed, I can't handle taking care of my daughter. And she'd text me saying she didn't file, but DSS told me that. Like, so I don't know what she's trying to, I don't know why she's trying to turn it on. The hospital called on me, but it was just really bad. While I was there, I had a lot of health issues. She wouldn't let us really go to the doctors when we needed to. OB care was very limited. And she's a nurse.
Right.
So she would just tell us, oh, you need to just pray. You need to pray. Like, you're fine. Like, you're being dramatic. You're overthinking. One girl had just had a baby while I was there, and I had pneumonia, and I also had the flu at the same time, and I actually fainted, and she was telling me to not post about it, not talk about it, because I would be taking away from her advertising this newborn baby that was coming to the house. And she didn't want me to say anything about me to throw any pressure off. She also was mad at me for being sick because the girl couldn't come home with the new baby because there was the flu in the house. I just could go on and on with so many things. She would make us every week send our SNAP benefits. We're only allowed $50 a week to spend, and it always went to my phone bill. It was just a very controlling environment. All the volunteers would talk about you to her. You couldn't talk to anyone, I swear. Like, I know someone said earlier they felt like the house was bugged, and I totally understand that, because everything you said, even to the girls, would get back to her. And she would just, like, it's just every one-on-one every week was just her going in there and belittling you, talking down on you, making you feel little, and like you're not a good enough mom. And it was never uplifting. It was just constant, like, shame, shame, shame. It was just,
We're hearing a lot of stories of women talking about the pressure to adopt out their child. You experienced that as well?
Yeah, she said because of my depression, I could not take care of a child.
Did you do that, or did you keep
No,
a child?
I did not. I kept my child. I'm actually pregnant with my third right now. And I'm a great mom.
Congratulations, Emily.
Thank you. I know I'm a great mom. It was instilled in me that I wasn't while I was there, and she would just manipulate everything I did with my child and say it was wrong. Sorry.
Hi, cutie.
That's my daughter. She's the one who I had there 6 years ago.
Cutie. She's a cutie.
You. Go sit down, please. Sorry, I'm in my car at Walmart, so I was trying to hop on.
It's okay. We can always do this in another time too later on and give you more time and a better space. You can come here, or we'll figure something out, because I think your story is, like everybody else's, very important. I mean, I don't want to delve too deep into this, because I really do feel it's like a psychological, emotional situation here that I'm not equipped for. But I will say, how did you find the strength to leave there and then do what you're doing now? You're doing well.
So while I was there, I did end up going to school, which was one thing I did benefit from this house. I went to school for massage therapy. So I did get a license obtained, but it was in Massachusetts. So when I left, I had to drive all the way back down to South Carolina. I had a car at the time, because while I was there, I accumulated enough money to buy a car, which she doesn't let you use, because it's not fair, because no one else has one. But I used my car to pack all my stuff, and drove all the way down to my dad in South Carolina, which it wasn't the best situation, but I had no other options. So it was just a lot. Like, this has been 5 years, and I'm still, like, struggling mentally, emotionally with this. It was just a lot, and I'm doing really well right now. Like, I have my kids. I'm in a great relationship. I bought my own house. I have a nice new car that's not a 98. So I'm doing great. I work at a high-end spa downtown Charleston, and I'm doing really well for myself regardless of what I went through over there.
I think it sounds to me from what you're saying and from what we're hearing from the other women is that there were certainly some points and parts of being there that did help to get you where you are today. But the emotional controlling trauma and all of the other things that came with it are things that you girls are really still carrying around with you right now. And that's a very unfortunate side effect from a place where you thought you were going to get help.
Hmm.
Anything else you want to say? I know it's emotional. You got your kids there. Obviously, I think everybody really thinks it's an important part of this story with Kylie Montero to talk about this. This is where she was. This is where she left before she ended up, going back to her abuser and then being killed.
Yeah.
Why are you speaking out now?
I tried to speak out years ago when I first left. No one listened. It took a death from this shelter, which I'm not saying, they are the reason she's dead, but they certainly led her right into the hands of her death when she just needed a place to go and she had nowhere to go. That's how I was, and a lot of other girls were when they were being kicked out. They had nowhere to go, and she has no care at all. Like, she's just like, have a great life, and leaves you across the side of the street with all of your belongings and a baby. She kicked my best friend out in a blizzard with a 4-week-old. Like, it's just no care at all.
Yeah, those stories of literally, moments notice or a little bit of time, pack everything you have, being driven by her to a parking lot, left there in a parking lot. And I mean, I don't know. The stories are just, there's more than one, there's more than two, there's more than three. I mean, everybody that we speak to, there is vindictiveness. There is the gaslighting, there is the manipulation, there's the control. I mean, I guess I'm still trying to figure out, and I hope that we can continue to figure this out, is how a place like this is an agency that is being suggested by agencies we trust. We heard somebody saying, we walked to a police station and, the flyers are everywhere. I mean, this is just
DSS and DCF also recommends this place. Right. And I've reported to them. I've reported to the Attorney General. I've tried to reach out to whoever I can to spread awareness about this because it's just terrible. I don't know how else to say it. It's just like a cult. It's just so manipulative. She uses people who are vulnerable, gets in their head. She made one girl give her child up for adoption after she was there for a year.
I did see that.
So much.
I did see that story, Emily, in the group, and I wanted to. You're confirming that was true. You know that to be true.
I know that girl. I went there with her. I do. She, while I was there, she had her son. She was very adamant about not doing adoption. She did not want to adopt. She was belittled just for a year by the director, Missy, and she just was probably made to watch those videos. I think the videos are new because I didn't watch adoption videos, but she said that in her quote, she knew she wasn't what she could give her son. She wasn't the best thing for her son, is what she's quoted from this girl. And when I left, that was not what that girl had in her head. It was, I'm keeping my son, I can do this. Turning into, while I left, she ended up giving him up for adoption because she felt she wasn't good enough for him.
He was a year old.
She raised him for a year.
Emily, there is a lot more to talk about with this story. I hope it's not the last time that you and I talk. I know you can't see the comments, but the things that women and men in our group are saying right now about you being brave enough to come here and tell your story is extraordinary. People think you're extremely strong. They're happy that you're doing well. On our end, we're going to continue to make sure that everybody hears these stories and that we can get larger mainstream media people to listen to you, and that the end goal here is to make change. So expose what's going on there. On a personal level, as a mom to a mom, I know the struggle and I know how hard it must have been for you to go through that. I know this is obviously very emotional for you. But I also do think that it takes a very, very strong person to speak up and tell their story, because I know you believe that it's going to make a difference. And I'm really proud of you for doing that.
Thank you.
Let's talk again
Thank you
soon.
for sharing this.
Is it your
I'm so
birthday,
happy
Emily?
it's
Or
come out.
yesterday?
It was yesterday.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday, babe.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your gender reveal. What do you want, a boy or a girl, or you don't care?
I'm hoping for a boy.
A boy?
Yeah, I have two girls.
It's time.
So yeah. Yeah.
I think you're doing great, and I'm sure it's not without struggle. But kind of getting this out there, I think, is really going to make a difference for some other girls. And if you help one, then it's worth it, I think.
I just hope that they feel comfortable coming forward to share and to get this out. I know it's really scary. I was scared to do it. I'm just trying my best to help advocate for everyone else who's gone through that.
It's inspiring that you did this, and I think you will inspire others to come forward too.
Thank you.
All right, babe, go enjoy your day. Thanks
right.
for talking to us, and we'll stay in touch, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Bye.
Okay. Well, yeah, you want to pull it up? I'll read you. The Bethesda House actually shared a story on their Facebook page back in 2021. And I want to tell you that the woman that Emily was just speaking to is actually the focus of this post. And it says, Bethesda House says, this week, this is September 15th, 2021. This week, we've been blessed with 2 new mothers at Bethesda House. One is pregnant and due in early 22, and the other is parenting a beautiful baby girl. If you are new to us and wondering what our mission looks like, here's the story about a young woman who recently graduated from our program. And now, I guess me sharing this, I want to be sensitive to it, but Bethesda House did share it, so I feel like it's okay. It says a wonderful transformation took place over the last year at Bethesda House. Just prior to the pandemic in February of 2020, a reserved young pregnant woman, Tori, came to live at Bethesda House. While living in our home, through the love of many volunteers, she had tremendous growth. She graduated from our program this spring, and her achievements were numerous. She gave birth to a beautiful little boy in March of 2020 at the height of the pandemic. Even considering the difficulties she was facing, she persevered, obtaining her high school diploma, raising her son through his first year, finding gainful employment, and celebrating his first birthday with the volunteers who became her family. When it came to her young son, in her own words, I knew deep down that I couldn't be the mother I needed to be. And this mature and difficult decision was not an easy one, but led to her on a search for a loving family for her son. She placed her son into the arms of his new family through an open adoption earlier this year. And finally, Tori reconnected with her grandmother, the woman who raised her. I will be honest with you, reading that story with no other context sounds great. But hearing the stories of these other women who are talking about being pressured to adopt, now I question that post. I would like to send an open invitation to Missy Porter to speak with me and to talk about it. Is Emily registered anywhere? Does she have a wish list that she can share if any of your viewers wants to send a little something? I think something like that maybe we should talk about. I don't want to interfere in people's spaces. And I think that's a great idea. But I think we need to. She adopted out 2 of her children. So I'm thinking this post on their page, while it sounds great, but hearing Emily talk about that woman and her experience with her, and then the other women who are talking about the pressures to adopt. If you read in my Substack, there's one girl who talked about a video about adoption. She would watch the video. It sounds like it's a requirement. And then as soon as she would say that she watched it, it came up again. I don't really know what else to think about any of these stories other than I believe each and every one of them. And I believe that these are women who are at their most vulnerable times in their lives, seeking help with no one to help them. And this feels absolutely gross and disgusting. How's the chat? I hate to end on a somber note, but
the chat is feeling the same as you.
Let me see.
How many? I will unmute myself. So that I don't know if there's going to be an echo, but I don't want them to not hear me.
I'll cover you.
How many houses are there? Is this like a?
So
I don't
there's
know.
one house.
I know, but when you look it up, there's like.
There's one in New York, in Schenectady, New York, but I don't think they're
I just looked
related.
for one. I thought it said it came up in California.
This is just one. I think it's one.
No, I mean, but how many? You know what I mean? How many are they like a Dunkin' Donuts where they're everywhere and they're like
No, I think they're
individually
separate. Their
owned?
tax
How
documents
can there be
show
so many with the same name in the same kind of situation?
maybe it's through the church. We need more time to start
for
digging
sure.
around. I did pull up their tax documents.
I was looking for the sponsors. Somebody said something about their sponsors. I was trying to
There
find
is
found like
there-
an annual report, but it's not the right place.
there is what story was I recently? I feel like I'm a little out of it here, but there was a story I recently did and I was looking at, and it ended up leading me to a website that I don't know if it's called Seek Help or Find Help. And some of the organizations that I had been talking about in another story were part of that website. And this place was also on that website. Remember when we talked about Blue Hub, and these are people who are falling on difficult times and own houses and they need help to avoid foreclosure? Flyers for Blue Hub Capital were at the Department of Transitional Assistance, where people were going to get on food stamps and at their lowest, and they were given flyers by the DTA to say, here's an organization that can help save your home. And it's actually a company that is, being sued by homeowners for predatory lending practices. Blue Hub was also listed on the state's website for resources. And so I bet if we dig a little bit more, we're going to find Bethesda House linked up on places that are supposed to be reputable places and organizations that people instinctively think of. This is where I'm going to go and look for help. And they're literally directing you to a place that has predatory practices. This is now like a weird theme of people and organizations under the guise of nonprofit that are actually out there not doing the right thing. And I swear to God, these NGOs and these nonprofits, it's all eye-opening to me, because you hear nonprofit and you are born and raised to think they don't make any money and they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart. And this comes from a place of, care. Nonprofits are anything but. Nonprofits are multi-million-dollar organizations. People are making tons of money on nonprofits. Just so you know, Kim Porter's salary on here is minimal. I looked up her tax doc. It's not a lot. There's got to be a revenue stream coming in from somewhere else. How about about her son? Her son talking to these women?
There's so much. I feel like we're gonna probably have like a nice.
Somebody is saying, do you know that Judge Cannoni's mom was involved in helping pregnant girls in Quincy? I did not know that.
Just feel like we're gonna have a lot to debrief with, and a lot of notes to take, a lot of following up to do.
I would really love if mainstream media would pick up these stories.
I can't imagine it's gonna take too long.
Just somebody else get some big eyes on this. Tag Libs of TikTok, or they're not the right ones, but anybody. Okay. Now is a good time to thank my sponsors before the end of the show, because if it weren't for them,
I'm going to apologize because I didn't run any banners.
You didn't run any banners, I think, because
Like
of the.
I mean, yours was on, but I just wasn't paying attention enough to. I know we talked about them in the beginning.
But let's do that now. I know it may seem like a weird, disjointed thing, but I actually think it's important, because I think about the people that are helping keep this studio going, allowed for that conversation to take place. And I think that's the kind of work and stories and things that they don't mind investing their money in. So these are our sponsors. This is After Hours Collision, and they're amazing and great. Mike Keneally and Brian Shortsleeve are our gubernatorial candidates for governor. I forgot to talk about Mallard Printing when I skipped over that before, but if literally this studio is because of Jeff and Mallard Printing. Amy and Silva Funeral Home in Taunton. Amy has been a supporter of my Substack before the show. She believes so strongly in telling the stories and the investigative work I do that she's been a sponsor for a long time. Nicole Sliney is a power agent out there selling homes, and she's just a real team girly, and we want to support her. And our Queen Stacy Face Travels, who I saw in the comment section a couple days ago, she deserves a little love as well. And then our attorney Rena Brown at Powerhouse Remodeling, and Christopher's, by the way, they're amazing, and Chris is great, and we've talked to him last week. So thank you to all of these guys, and I appreciate that. Heavy stuff that we're talking about today, but overwhelmed by these women. To be honest with you, I'm overwhelmed. I actually feel like it's probably best to end on that. Do we have anything else that we need to talk about or we need to discuss? I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Right? I want to cry get off of this.
I don't know. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to go through, I don't know. I agree.
Go through what?
I was going to say go through, some of the comments. But...
We can. You want to pull? It's hard for me to see because it slows me down. But I just feel like there's a lot going on here.
It was just a lot of the same. So I think it's okay to just end it. I don't know.
Let's end it here. It's Saturday, and there's a lot to be thankful for today in a lot of different lives and a lot of different places. If there's any consolation that's making me feel better, all these girls look like they're doing great. Great. In spite of what they had to go through. It just makes it wild to think that it's women. And I was saying this week multiple times, and Erin and I have talked about this. I do not consider myself a feminist in any way, shape, or form. I would never use that word to describe me, but there is some weird shit going on in this world, and it is all aimed towards women, and I love men so much. I love the guys in this world. I have men that are my friends, and my exes, my baby daddies, my current husband, my political guys in my life. I love all of the men in my life, and it's hard for me to say this, but there's some weird vibes I'm getting about women right now. That I can't say things, but men can certainly say things. Now you've got these women who are at the helm of, male partners that are either, abusing them or not stepping up and not helping them, and they go for help and they're getting taken advantage of. It's just, there's just a thing here that it's are you all going to make me become a feminist? Are you going to make me take on that role of being a strong woman? And, it's just, there's just something going on here. You know what I mean? And I'm coming off of a week where I don't like it. I don't like the vibes. I don't like the vibes. I know Erin doesn't like the vibes either, but I can be if I want to. But I love my guys, and I don't know. I feel like I have to reconcile all this in my head in some way. Not this particular thing, but overall in women, opinionated women, not being able to speak out, not being able to call out corruption. I don't know. It's just a weird vibe. There's a bitch in the mix. That was said about me this week. There's a bitch in the mix. When there's a bitch in the mix. Yeah. Yeah, there is a bitch in the mix. Yep. All right, let's end it. Sorry, the puffy shirt stayed for the whole time. I just want to thank everybody for jumping in, listening, and following. I really love this platform that we are building. I really love the followers. I love the women that are here. I appreciate you all. And I appreciate you supporting my work. I know Erin has been running the Venmo and the PayPal at the bottom of the screen. I am a total grifter, but I just want to say there is no other revenue stream coming into my life other than this job. So If you're in a position where you want to support my work, you can use my Venmo or my PayPal, and that keeps me doing this. If those things dry up, then I go back to some sort of job. Erin and I are going to go work at Dunkin' Donuts, and nobody will be uncovering the stories that I uncover, which is, by the way, what I do. I uncover stuff. I find stories. I think about them. There's thought that goes into them, and then I work on them, and then I share them to you. And so I feel it's very valuable work. Okay? Have a Saturday, besties. Thank you. Thanks to our ladies for coming on today. It was really important conversations.